evening, everybody. Welcome. It's a Thursday night. You know what Thursday night means? It means more time for SEC football. The 2023 SEC Weekly with Dadman. And I'm your host, Dadman Walking 55, folks. Hey, um, you know, I love this time of year. It's fall. It's starting to get cold. Just noticed it the other day, really, and tonight was really cool here. And, you know, God, I love fall. So, what does fall and the cooler temperatures mean? Football. Great Southeastern Conference football. The leaves will start changing, and if you're blessed in certain parts of the country, and you know, just you can't say enough about this time of year. I know, and the people that we're going to be talking to are from different parts of the country and stuff like that. So it's going to be neat to see how things change. Unfortunately, here in the South, when it's July and August, it's hotter than hell, and even September is usually pretty darn warm till the evenings. So but hey, thanks for being here, my friends. Good to see you tonight. We'll have an interesting couple of weeks here. We've actually got an honor. We've actually got 2 weeks in a row of Auburn fans, if you can believe that or not. We had O.C. Dobbins a couple weeks ago with the Alabama Crimson Tide, and then we've got then we had B from O tonight, who I am going to bring out here in just a second. And let's see, I'm making sure we are live. We are everywhere. We got 6 likes already, but no comments. But hey, on that note, hey, he is not short of words. His wife made him a heck of a cool avatar to come on the show tonight. And wonderful to have this guy who I bumped into playing Fortnite and a Fortnite stream on another streamer's channel many, many months ago. Let me introduce the great B from O. Hey, B, how are you tonight?
Hey, I'm doing good. Hello, everybody in YouTube land.
Yay. Well, B from O, it's been a kind of an interesting journey for us to get here tonight.
Yes, it
Starting with
has. It
Fortnite.
has. Yeah, it did. It did. That's one thing that has brought me together with a lot of people, including yourself, and it's been just a wonderful experience with that. Then to lead into football and SEC football, it's been really fun.
Absolutely. So, I mean, have you been into? We'll talk more about your football experience and stuff. So, hopefully, it's been fun getting back into football this season. So,
Yes, yes, it has. It's been fun.
no,
I've
well,
really enjoyed it.
well, that's awesome, and we're just getting started. Although they did make me sad earlier. You know, it's yeah, it's They said the season, which is worse, hearing that 3 games are down or a quarter of the season's gone already.
Uh, I think probably here in a quarter of the season's done already.
Oh my gosh. I know it made me sad already. Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I got it. So, like we said here, we've got 4 watching us. Make sure. Oh, I got to do this thing here. I got to make sure I hit the banners here. We are at 464 subs. So make sure you sub if you haven't already. Hit that like button. Thanks to everybody that will be here, has been here, and hey. What other way to greet an Auburn fan be from O to the show is our guest from 2 weeks ago, the O.C. Dobbins, the Alabama
Hey,
fan.
Dobbins.
Hey, oh, oh my gosh, goodness,
War
yeah. So,
Eagle, Dobbins.
oh my gosh, you guys, I never did I think I'd ever get to this point of having Auburn fans, Alabama fans, and it's just kind of cool to bring in everybody together.
Yeah, it is. That's one thing about football. It brings, even though you have rivalries, it still brings, people together.
Hmm. I've kicked around the idea. The only problem that makes it hard is that last week of the season is right on top of Thanksgiving, and people have plans because, like, our show that week is scheduled to be on a Tuesday night. Well, Lorena, Florida State's a big game, but it'd be kind of cool to have a big panel of people like Alabama and Auburn fans and some Florida State fans, getting a group of people together that have the rivalries and just have a little powwow talking and memories and stuff like that. between the schools and between the rivalries. That's just something I kicked around, but timing is kind of difficult. Hey, yep, you do.
That might have to be a late night stream.
You never know. We get known to go live at 2 o'clock in the morning, and some people are just getting started then. But hey, that's awesome. Glad to have you be from. Would you, for people that don't know a lot about you? I mean, you've seen you play with us a few times on Fortnite. A lot of times in this part, I talk to you. Most people have been streamers, and we talk about what they do, what their channels are, things like that. But you want to say something about yourself so people understand a little bit more who B from O is?
Well, other than through, like you mentioned earlier, Fortnite, I'm not a streamer myself, but I've met a lot of other streamers, and I've met you. But I don't know where you would like for me to, what you would like for me to, say about myself. What would you like to know?
Oh well, do you mind like, well, what do you do for trade? Do you drive, or do you do different things? And hey, let me say hello real quick to Bucky's Crafting. Bucky, hey, yes, you did, and you apparently the notifications are working now. Yes, folks. Also, like Bucky said us last night, YouTube changed their notifications to selective. So make sure you hit the all and make sure it's there and check it all the time. Make sure you check that you're subscribed too, because weird things do happen. But thank you for that, Bucky. Oh no, Bucky, we're all sick, so I want to get what rest I can between kids needing help. Absolutely, Bucky. Well, maybe if you maybe you can lurk and listen, so it won't be as hectic as a Fortnite stream. But hey, yeah, it's all good. So basically, well, yeah. What have you done? What have you done in life? I mean, that you want to share? I mean, are you a driver? Are you a commercial artist? Do you play in a rock band?
No,
Interest stuff
by
like
trade.
that. Yeah.
Well, by trade, I'm a truck driver. And right now I work for a local municipality, and I do everything from driving a dump truck to putting the lines down on the asphalt to digging ditches and putting in pipes and that kind of thing. For interests and hobbies.
Yeah.
I watch a little bit of football. I tinker a little bit on cars at the house here. Just different things. Whatever gets me busy.
It just jogged a memory. You drive trucks and stuff. You're not the line markers, right?
Actually, I put down the lines. Yellow and white.
Oh my gosh, I had to ask you because I cannot remember what state it was. When the missus and I were on that trip to Colorado, I don't remember if it was coming back in Mississippi or if it was. There was one state we had, and it was like 20 miles of it. What it was it was just a blurred white. Like if you had a full load and it was like leaking. For like 20 miles, we saw this blurred white spread out in the right lane.
Yeah, there's no telling.
And it was like forever. It became a joke on our stream. People were noticing and all this stuff. And we found the point where either they ran out or the driver knew something was wrong because it went suddenly to the right and stopped.
Yeah, that's probably where they noticed that it was leaking, and somebody finally got their attention. That's probably what ended up happening.
Oh my gosh, I just couldn't imagine that. That was it was a running joke in our stream. It was just like we finally decided, oh, well, we want to keep going to see how long this lasted, and boy, it lasted quite a while.
Yeah, it can be a running joke amongst the folks that are in the trade.
Oh man, but I tell you what, you might have an unhappy boss if you lost the load like that. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh gosh, oh my goodness. So. Yeah, that's kind of neat. And you say you work on cars too and stuff. Any particular vehicles you like to work on?
I'll tinker on anything in the yard. I've got everything. I've got several different things I work on just to keep busy.
No, I've
got of all things. I had one way back. I have got my hands on, of all things, now get this, a 1994 Geo Metro with
Whoa.
the four doors. Yes, and that's going to be because I drive about 25 miles back and forth to work, and I've been driving a big Chevrolet 2500.
Right.
So the gas savings will make the difference up. So I was
Mm,
like, it cost me 50, $60 a week driving back and forth to work in the truck. So I was like, I could pocket that and $20 a month,
yeah.
go back and forth to work on.
Yeah. Talk about fuel efficiency. Gee. Yeah. That would make a difference. Yeah. Even when gas is not so expensive, it's still a lot to
Exactly.
fill up those car vehicles. So OC says that's great. You know what's kind of cool because being a '94, it probably was still pre-computer. I mean, it had its share of computers, but not like computers today where everything's computerized. I had a '95 pickup truck that I hated getting rid of, but those are vehicles you could actually work on, do yourself. These vehicles now, you really, unless you have the expensive equipment, it's hard to work on the
It
vehicle
is. It
itself.
is. And of all things, and I know some of them out there that know about this. I traded, of all things, the first year of the square body Chevrolet, the newer body styles, the an '88 Chevrolet pickup. I traded for this little car.
Hmm.
And I know some of it. Why would you trade that off? Well, a buddy of mine needed a truck, and I needed something that would save me on gas. So it worked out really good.
Hey, there you go. If it's mutually beneficial, that's all the better. All the better.
Exactly.
OC says that it's $6 over $6 a gallon there.
Oh wow, wow.
It's back up to about 380 here, 360 to 380 here. It just
Yeah,
it
we're
just
at
depends.
335 to 345.
Yeah, but when we got relatives over near the Alabama border, we like to go up in the Florala sometimes and get gas up there. It's a little bit. It used to be cheaper, but I think they did. My in-law said that Alabama changed its sales tax or its gas tax or something, so it's now not as cheap up there compared to like Definiac. So
No, they decided to pass in the middle of the night a gas hike up to I think it was 10 cents over the next 10 years or something like that, 5 or 10 years. Yeah.
well,
Thank you.
yeah, I know, and we try to avoid politics, but that was just a gas statement because we all hate
Yep, yep.
expensive gas prices, and it took away our option because we'd be up there. We just got there and saved 20 cents a gallon, at least 25 cents a gallon. But now you might as well just get it on the way back. To some, I think it's actually cheaper in Mariana at the travel stop down there than it is up in Alabama now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this depends on timing of the markets and stuff like that. But yeah, they I just was I always loved jumping up in the Floral, Alabama, because I had to pull the picture up for one of my chill streams
Hmm.
because they
That's
had
actually
the
not too far from us.
oh wow I
Yeah,
love
that's.
we there's a Mexican place up there we eat all when we are over there a lot
Hmm.
in town, and also I love that drugstore up there, famous for guns and drugs. And it's got the blue sign on top, $5 Viagra. So hey, you know, it's nothing like saying welcome to Alabama and you see that first billboard pulling right across the state line.
Yeah, it's a hard pass, right?
Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right, folks. Well, hey, B from home, glad to have you with us tonight. So we're going to go ahead. Let's jump into some of the action.
All
We got
right.
a lot. Looks like we got some lurkers tonight. Hey, lurkers, we love you. Thank you for being here. Make sure everybody smash that like button if you're lurking, if you're here. If you want to lurk and say hi, we always like to say hi if you feel like saying hi, because then we can at least embarrass you for 1 second so we know we can put a name with the face and the lurking. But hey, if you don't, just keep lurking. We love to have y'all there. But hey, if you haven't, subbed, please do check, make sure that you are still subbed. And we are going to get going with this week's action, my friends. All right. So, with that being said, we start as always with what we do with our standard disclaimer. Also, here with that we are not a gambling site, folks. We do this for entertainment, or at least to have some laughs, or kill up a few hours on our Thursday nights, that type of thing. Uh, Here, but we are not a gambling site. We're just people having fun together, uh, watching some football, talking some football, just having some fun, chatting. and plus, don't rely on me for any gambling if even if you wanted to, because I get the picks mostly. Well, I've done okay this year, but you know, don't blame me. Don't blame me. It's like, eh, you know, yeah, so you know how that goes. So I'm not responsible for the bad the bad ones. Give me the credit.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, if you take one of your picks and you get a bunch of it, they could donate to the stream.
Exactly. Might have to have Patreons and stuff like that at some point. But hey, folks, we are not gambling. We are here to have fun. Just remember that. Also, be from I don't know if you were aware of something that happened on Sunday in the NFL.
What's that?
It was the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams. They played. The Niners were up by 10 points. It was a 7.5 point spread. And folks, remember, this is not a gaming site. I'm just talking about something that can be verified in fact out there. The Rams kicked a field goal to lose by 7 with no time left. So apparently Las Vegas was not happy. A lot of people. But you know what? The thing is I got to confirm with some other people with NFL, though, those points can matter in some of the tie breaks and all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why you would go ahead and kick the 3 points, because, you know, if it came down to, would you hate to lose out on a playoff berth by 1 point? You know what I mean? So hit the points if you can. And hello, Mrs. Hey, good to see you tonight. The Mrs. in here. We got 7 of y'all with us. So that was the news of the day from this week. That was kind of interesting from the NFL side. But hey, my friends, let's go ahead and go. We're going to start with probably O.C. Dobbins' big game of the week. The Alabama Crimson Tide went on the road to play the South Florida Bulls in a game that got delayed at least an hour by a big monsoon and lightning delay. But this game apparently turned out as cruddy as the weather was. In a very bad sluggish fest, Alabama sleptwalked to a 17-3 win over South Florida. South Florida actually led this game into the second quarter 3-0, but that was about all the offense that they could muster. Alabama started new quarterbacks, Ty Buchner and Tyler Buchner, the Notre Dame transfer, and then Ty Simpson came in relief in the game. Neither one threw for 50% on the day. Very anemic offensive output by Alabama. You can see 15 first downs, managed 310 yards, only 107 through the air. They did run for 203 yards, but they benefited by a couple big runs in that game. South Florida committed 2 turnovers. Really not a good game for your passing game. They threw for only 87 yards, 14 first downs. Tyler Buchner for Alabama was 5 of 14 for 34 yards in his first start at Alabama. Roydell Williams for the Tide had 17 carries for 129 yards and a touchdown. Isaiah Bond for the Tide had 4 catches for 42 yards, and he was the only Alabama receiver with more than 1 reception in the game. And as I mentioned before, USF led 3-0 with 14:07 left in the first half. Before that delay, Alabama outscored South Florida 17-0 to end the game. And so O.C. Dobbins, yes, so disappointing. Exactly.
They didn't score those last 14 points until right at their mid third quarter into the fourth quarter.
The fourth quarter, the last touch, it was 10-3 till about a minute left, I believe.
Yep.
It was just a garbage touchdown, really, that Alabama took advantage of at the very, very end. And yep, OC said it. See, these are the type of games I hate. Like, as a Gator fan, when we had McNeese State the week before, it's like, you're cursed. If I watch it, then they better blow them out. You know, and if they don't blow them out, then I'm mad because they didn't blow them out. So it's like you can't win.
Mm-hmm. You know, here a little while back, you know, getting into what you were just saying, back, what was it? I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, you know, Nick Saban, you know, whenever they were just blowing opponents out, Nick Saban would complain about students and fans leaving at mid third quarter after this first half was ending, and now they're leaving because there's no ball, because I think it was this game here, you
Mm-hmm.
know, or no, not this game because they were away, but now they're leaving, because they're not playing as good as they used to.
Mm-hmm.
It's either it just seems like, are are you going to complain because they're leaving because they're blowing out and the scores, 63-0, and fans
Yep.
are leaving, mid third quarter, and you got half the stadium full? Or are you going to complain because they're not playing as good now? The fans don't want to be there because they're not playing as good.
Yeah. It's a yeah it's a it's a conundrum, these type of games, especially. But this was a road game for Alabama. I'm sure it gave a lot of Alabama fans in Florida a chance to go see them. But definitely not a great showing. Definitely was not because of the weather. I think at first, because they did have decent weather up front, and still Alabama struggled immensely. So now they've made Jalen uh, Milroad is now going to be the starter for Alabama this week. Saban's already named him the starter, who never made an appearance in this game, which was odd. I thought. What I thought was odd was that they played the two backups in this game and didn't even allow Milroy a chance to play at this game. I don't know if that was by design, so they could see what these guys could do and to give them a chance,
Mhm.
or what. Whether it was just odd how your former starter who was benched didn't get off the bench in this game.
Yeah, I maybe there's been something, in practices and all. From my understanding, Saban likes to pick his players on what he sees in practice, as far as for the game, I guess leadership or something like that. Maybe something that he lacked or maybe wasn't showing in the first, 2-3 weeks there. And he wanted to give these other two guys a shot, to see if they would step up.
One of the things that I had heard talked about too with this was that to be fair to Milroy was the was that the let me hit what OC said. Is one theory he was suspended, and that could be too possible because it's so odd your starter wasn't the first guy off the bench. But that's sometimes it's like the NFL, they don't like to tell you anything, so they'd rather keep it quiet. So that I could see that is a possibility. What we found out later is in the Tennessee game against Florida, one of their starting linemen was not arrested, but had a citation for a possession. Or basically what they did is they held it. He did not get to play offensive position. He played some on special teams, but he did not get to play on the offensive line, which we'll talk about what happened in that game soon. So, but yeah, but also the thing with Milrow is, are they going to use his legs? Are they going to give him design runs? Are they going to try to make him be a Tommy Rees pocket passer? Or are they going to try to generate offense based on what the quarterback can do, which was not apparent in the first couple weeks, with him trying to tailor to his abilities. So, like I said, my thing with Alabama is going to be the quarterback play. They'll go as far as their quarterbacks will take them. And right now, there's reason to be worried in Tuscaloosa right now. So, all right. All right. So that was one of the games of the week. Alabama, South Florida. Really a shock to see this game so close. Um, then we'll jump over to the next. This was a I didn't see this one coming. I thought BYU was kind of down a little bit when you look at the numbers, but over the season. But hey, BYU comes into Fayetteville once again, beats an SEC team on the road. Beats Arkansas 38-31. If you remember a couple seasons ago, BYU went into Knoxville and upset the Volunteers there. So BYU, the SEC killers on the road here, folks. Still still at it. Uh, Come away with 38-31 win. Arkansas had a drive down at the last minute, but ended up with penalties, got pushed back to midfield, and just ran out of time with trying to get it into the end zone. KJ Jefferson for the Pigs was 24-35 throwing for 247 yards, both with a touchdown and an interception. Keaton Slovis for BYU was 13 of 25 for 167 yards. See, that's what gets me with BYU. And he had 2 touchdowns. I'm used to the old 84, the McMahon and all the Steve Young BYU teams that threw the ball for 400 yards, not these running BYU teams. LJ Martin for BYU ran the ball 23 times for 77 yards, had 2 touchdowns, including a 45-yard touchdown rush. And AJ Green for Arkansas had 9 carries for 86 yards, 2 touchdowns, one of which was the first touchdown of the game, a 55-yard touchdown run. So again, Arkansas dominates time of possession by over 10 minutes. Double, I want to say about 5, 6, not quite double, but they've outgained BYU by about 140 yards. Dominating performance statistically, but not enough points on the board to beat BYU. Any thoughts on this one?
Well, one thing is, are like BYUs and stuff? Or you think they may have maybe tapped into that running game of the how the SEC just likes to just pound the ball, into just pound and pound and pound on the defenses. The time of possession, like you said, is 10 minutes more, and your numbers here, they the score doesn't really reflect the what Arkansas did on the field. They got almost over was that 140, 150 yards more
Yep,
of
about
total
140
yards.
more. Yep. So
So
yeah, and then that's the thing is numbers can be deceiving too. Your statistics can look good, but yet it's about efficiency, executing in the end zone.
mm-hmm.
Where you get the ball, are you efficient with scoring in your possessions? So it's really was like I said, this game was a surprise to me. I figured Arkansas would do better, and honestly, Arkansas is a team that I've gotten down on. The last 2 years, I kind of had some. Last year, I really picked them to do a lot, but they had a massively down year after Sam Pittman had really turned them around. Then last year was a big down year, and now they're showing the same trends this time again because of they're this team that they've got yet talent. They've got a returning quarterback, KJ Jefferson. They've got good running backs.
Mm-hmm.
They got good receivers. They got talent. But again, they're losing games they need to win against BYU. They haven't been able to beat Texas A&M, Mississippi, those middle of the road SEC teams that are here. Okay.
Yeah, Arkansas.
Hey, by the way,
it's one of those.
Somebody thinks that they can just sneak in, but we always see. But hey, Lisa, good to see you.
Hello, Lisa. But Arkansas is one. Even though I'm not an Arkansas fan, Arkansas is a team that I would like to see be good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
I think it would benefit. I think it would benefit the SEC. I think it would benefit football. College football.
It's not Alabama. It's not Texas A&M. It's somebody that's outside the
somebody different.
powers.
Somebody outside. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I'd say over in the East, I like that Tennessee's becoming more relevant now because I want my Gators to get back where they are because I hate that they're down where they are. But I really, it's better when you have multiple teams that have that threat out there. Georgia Georgia just dominating with no competition is not good. Alabama dominating without. Oh, hey, Canadian Spider-Man got in here too. Any slashing or hooking? Hey, hey, you never know. Stay around. We actually had some fisticuffs in a game the other night. So, hey, stick around. We get some fighting and some football. But yeah, I agree with you. I like that. I think that the more teams that you had that are relevant, that are winning games, it does help the league. It does make for better football than these games where when it's only Alabama running away with the league or only Florida back in the Urban Meyer days, and when it was so one-sided. It does make for better brand of football.
It does. It does. I'm like you. I like to see a Tennessee be real good. Arkansas be real good. That would be that would benefit. That would benefit the whole league. The whole conference.
Yep, I know. But like you said, Arkansas is a team. I'm kind of getting pissed at them because it's like I want them to do good. They got every reason to be good, and that it's their defense again. I mean, they've got a solid offense. They've had a solid offense, but they can't seem to have a defense to keep them in games or to win some of these games that they should be winning. So, all right. Well, that's BYU Arkansas, folks. We're going to move on now. You got anything else on this one?
No, sir.
All right. So we're going to go ahead to the next game, which is Samford at Auburn. This is up your territory.
Whoop, whoop. Let's go.
Folks, we got 2 weeks in a row. This week it'll be from O. Next week will be Small Town Republic, where we have Auburn fans in the house. So Auburn wins this game at Jordan-Hare Stadium. And yes, I know it's spelled Jordan, but it's Jordan. I guess that's the way it's pronounced. Only in Alabama, an O can be pronounced as a U. So I guess. Thanks for laughing at that one. But hey, Auburn wins this game 45-13 over Samford, an in-state rival. Auburn dominates this game, double the first downs, double the yardage. Really an efficient-looking day for Auburn with this, but still on the nasty side, 3 turnovers. In a game where they still dominated the competition. Peyton Thorne, the quarterback for Auburn, was 24-32 for 282 yards, a touchdown, but he threw 2 picks. He did run the ball 11 times for 123 yards and 2 touchdowns. So very efficient. Still ball protection needed to improve for the quarterback for Auburn. Jay Fair for Auburn had 7 catches for 93 yards. Auburn's outscored Samford 17-0 at the first half and then 28-13 in the second half. And Michael Hires for Samford, 18-31 for 141 yards, a touchdown and 2 interceptions. So, all right. So it's a standard workman paycheck game. Auburn takes care of business that, sometimes these games were kind of closer for Auburn in recent years. Your thoughts, B?
Yeah, well, they did pretty much what they should have and what was expected. You just mentioned about these type of games. One game that really comes to mind is 5-6 years ago they actually played Jack State, which ain't too far from Auburn, and Jack State took them into overtime.
Yeah.
At on the plains there. And that was a real surprise. I was actually working and listening to that one on the radio, and I was wow.
You're talking about Jacksonville State, right?
Yes, Jacksonville State. I'm sorry.
I know there's also Jackson State, but that's what I remember that game.
Yeah, and they took them into overtime, and I think it was I want to say it was a field goal that won it for them finally.
Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you, I remember a game last year that Auburn played Missouri, and Missouri. Auburn got the first field goal. Missouri was about to run the ball in for the touchdown, but the running back extended the ball, and it got knocked out and into the end zone, and Auburn jumped on it. It's like, ball security. So, something about Auburn in those close games, though, I guess. So, did you get to watch much of this game this week?
I watched a little bit of it, not much.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm actually looking forward to this week's game. I think that'll be one game that'll be a test for them. I think.
Well, we will definitely talk about that soon. I got to see some of Auburn last week on the road at Cal. That was an ugly snooze fest, but Auburn did come out with that win. So
yes, it was.
Just win the game, win in advance. That's all you can do, folks. That's all you can do.
But there again, that goes back to kind of what we were discussing. I think off stream. Is the SEC, which you'll probably get into this, is that a show that, maybe the SEC is down, not beating teams that they should.
Yeah. Or as badly as they should. Yeah, exactly. We'll take a look at we'll hit that topic as we get through the rest of these games. We'll finish and we'll look at the SEC standings, and we'll definitely hit on that a little bit more. All right. Anything else you want to say about your team here before we move on? Or are we going to reserve it for the? There's a big game coming up this week, I know. So
yeah, we could talk about it later. We can move on if you like.
All right, let's go. And then go Gators! Yeah, taking showing every. Sorry, I gotta be. Do I have to be unbiased on my own show?
No, go ahead.
I love this friggin' ass result that finally friggin' damn our season's not over in the 3rd game of the year. Listen, you'd think I hate Georgia Bulldogs the most by everybody, but I hate Tennessee with a passion.
What is it about Tennessee that people don't like?
Well, let me say hello to Castle. Castle comes in right in when I go on rampages for some reason. Thanks for the retweet out. And Lisa's laughing. No, this game has all kinds of hell with it. So I'll tell you one of the biggest damn problems I had with Tennessee, the wannabes. You know, Peyton Manning, Peyton Manning, Peyton Manning, Peyton Manning, Peyton Manning, Peyton Manning, Peyton Manning. Another God. But you know what? 0-4 against the Gators. 0 SEC titles. Hey, his next guy, T. Martin, won a national championship. But do you hear him talk about T. Martin? No, not like do Peyton Manning. So, oh God, Castle. It's like that's one of the reasons why. And it's just one of those teams you love to hate. I mean, I should hate Georgia like that, but I mean, you know, because of their beating the Gators when I was a kid, torturing me. You know, Gators think they're going to win and never beat Georgia, but there's just something about Tennessee, and it's a god awful Rocky Top. God damn! Hey, we got first down. Dun 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 dun. dun. And we went around the locker room. Rocky Top. You know, it's just like golly. Yes, Castle Melee, like button. So,
as a kid, I was a Gators fan. Mm-hmm. You know, actually, was born in Gainesville.
Mm-hmm. So, really?
So that was, that was, you know, I'm still go Gators fan. You know.
Okay.
So, I guess there's something about orange and blue. I guess.
Yeah, there must be. But see, we don't like orange and white. But hey. But I will tell you though, I do that, but I do love some Tennessee fans. Wade, who's a friend of our channel here. I also had a friend last year that came on a lot of my shows. Geeky, her name was Geeky, was a big Tennessee fan, and we watched some of the games together, and just it was kind of cool. You know that I've gotten to know some really nice Tennessee people, and to me, it's not personal with them. It's just
rivalry, right?
And they want to beat us because they couldn't beat us as much as we beat them. It's like 20 years in a row the Gators have won at the Swamp. You know, that's 10 trips, you know, and every time 27, you know, you had the year 4th and 15, Will Greer hits Antonio Callaway on 4th and 15. He catches the ball short of the 15 of the marker, turns around, outruns the whole defense for a friggin' touchdown. Tennessee misses a field goal, Florida wins. The Philippi Frank 75 friggin' yards in the frickin' air to the end zone. He got behind the defense, touchdown. Not even a tip drill. Called it behind the defense. Hail Mary. I mean, games like that. The game Florida won in Knoxville 10-7 when they had a broken arm quarterback and a kicker that could hit a third of his field goals. Florida still won. And it's just one of those things. So, hey. And yes, Canadian Spider-Man, Tennessee is a hell of a wonderful state to visit. I'm sad our trip coming up got canceled. We were going to be up there in a little bit, and that's some great folks up there, great country up there. So, but I will also tell you what this game means to this game. Also had a fight the other night, folks. At the end of it, Florida was up 20. This game was over really at the halftime. Florida was up 26-7. Really shut down their offense in the second half. I know Tennessee complained about some of the officiating. You know, my team won, so it's easy for me to say. I could see a couple of the calls that they complained about. There were, but I've seen much worse officiated games than this one was. Florida, it was an interesting game from a Florida standpoint because Tennessee got the first. Florida moved the ball, missed a field goal. Tennessee got it like 4 plays touchdown, and you're thinking like, oh God, here we go again, you know. And then Florida just dominated from then through the second quarter, and for a fairly easy win here, folks. It was really, really a solid performance. I will criticize Billy Napier. I still have concerns. I think he shut this offense down way too early in the second half, making Tennessee think that they really stopped the Gators, but I think the Gators stopped themselves. Also, with some of the play calling, what they did in the second half was not aggressive enough if you're in a dogfight. Tennessee did rally, outscoring the Gators 9-3 in the second half, but fortunately, Florida's defense kept them on 3 and outs and stuff. As you can see there, Florida dominated time of possession by 15 minutes in this game. At one point in the second half, and at one point late in the second quarter, Tennessee had only had the ball about 4.5 minutes. And that's how effective Florida was not only holding the ball, but scoring touchdowns. Graham Mertz for the Gators. Wisconsin Okay, that state, Wisconsin. I will say, as critical as I'm Napier, I'll give him credit on this, but I still have concerns. My thing about Wisconsin quarterbacks, okay, Graham Mertz, you did good. You did good, Graham Mertz. He's a 19 to 24 for 166 yards, had a touchdown, and also had a rushing touchdown. Trevor Etienne had a play of the game with a 62-yard rush to get the Gators on the board, pulled within 7-6. He had 23 carries on the day for 172 yards, including that long touchdown. Joe Milton III for Tennessee was 20 of 34, 287 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. A lot of fans in Knoxville are on him, and I think they're unfairly because he made some nice throws. But he threw one right over the defender's head that was perfectly positioned. I think looking at this really was, I think for once Josh Heupel got out coached. He did not call the same type of games plan he did other things. They did this constant screen flat pass stuff all the time. Then with the 3-man front, did not run the ball enough early in the game. It reminded me of some of the Gator coaches that get hard headed.
Yeah, yeah, they just get out coached.
Yeah.
The decision making on like you just mentioned, cutting back early or not letting the quarterback just do what they do.
Yeah, and like I said, Napier says we're going to run it and we're going to do this, but it's like sometimes you got to do something else. You're having success with something else. Put your pride, do what it takes to get the win. So, Milton threw his first interception while at Tennessee in 250 pass attempts. If you remember, he was the starter initially last season before he got benched and replaced by Hendon Hooker. So, are you still there, B?
Yes. I thought I left, but no, I'm still here.
Okay, all right. Your avatar disappeared, so I don't know if you want me to remove you while you're working on that or not.
No, I'm good. I'm back.
Okay,
I'm back.
okay,
I hear
cool.
you. I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, cool. So he was the starter last year before Hendon Hooker took over, and then he became the starter again in the last season, including the bowl game where they dominated Clemson because of an injury to Hooker. By the way, last year we learned that you type the word hooker, even though it's a name in the YouTube chat, can get flagged for mods to clear it. It was interesting. So, but it was his first interception at Tennessee, but he made some really nice throws. It's one that he needs to run the ball a little bit more. There are valid criticisms, but see, this was an overall team failure in this game. One of the linemen who actually transferred from Florida was suspended. Well, he played on special teams, but he did not play at all on the offensive line. And the offensive line was a big weakness in this game for Tennessee, especially in the second half when the Gators took over this game. So with that said, the Gators have won 17 of the last 19 games in the series, including 10 in a row at the Swamp. The last time the Gators lost at home was 2003. So as I was going to mention, this game marked a fight near the end of it because for some reason, Tennessee called a timeout with 9 seconds left, even though they were down 13 points. It was setting up a 4th down play. And granted, I will criticize Napier at that point is punt the ball with 9 seconds left. Just kick the ball away or snap at the punter, run it out of the end zone and give up 2 points and run the clock out. Now, what they did is they had the quarterback go to do a kneel play. Well, how are you going to run around 9 seconds? It gets 4th down. They get the ball back at the spot once you kneeled it. So what happens? Quarterback kneels it at the last second. Tennessee pops him. Then you get players on the field throwing punches. So 2 of the Gators' offensive linemen are now suspended for the first half against Charlotte this week, and other players for Tennessee.
Yeah, I watched that brawl, and some of them were actually like squaring up and getting ready to duke it out.
I knew the Gator guy
actually
was
squaring up.
Exactly. He was ready to throw punches. I mean, it was like, dude, the other guy's wearing helmets. You might not want to punch a helmet. That's what's so funny with it. But so, what did you think as a non combatant here? What did you think here with what happened there at the end?
I think it's ridiculous. You always have next year. You always have. Leave it on the. Take it out on the next play or take it out on the next game. Let all that frustration let that frustration transfer into how you play. Take that frustration out on the next guy that you hit. That's what whenever I play ball, that's whenever that's what we were always told. Don't get out there and try to go fisticuffs. Just take it
Mhm.
out and give the guy a lick on the next play.
Well, see, I think too the problem is both coaches in this case. One, Heupel, why bother a timeout with 9 seconds? The game's over. You just let it go. Get out. Nobody gets hurt. Napier, just punt the ball and protect your quarterback instead of doing some. If there was 1 or 2 seconds, I could understand what they did, but you are vulnerable back there. You could get hit and hurt. Um,
Yeah,
also,
yeah,
also after that penalty, they marched it off. They had run another play, and they had ATN out there running a running play instead of just taking a knee. It's like so. Like I said, there are things that I criticize this coaching staff for still with this, and it just was it marked it was a bad way to mark the end of a game. Out of Gainesville today, the league handed down suspensions. Uh, they suspended three Florida players, one Tennessee player for the fight that started was supposed to be the last play of the game. These punishments are first half. They're half game punishments for the first half of their next games. So Florida will be out. Who's ranked 25th will be without right tackle Damian George and Micah Mazuka and tight end Dante Sanders on Saturday for the first half against Charlotte in Gainesville, which should not be a big deal. Defensive lineman Omar Norman Lott will miss the first half of Tennessee's game against Texas San Antonio. The fight started when Florida quarterback Graham Mertz was slow to take a knee on 4th and 16 play with 9 seconds remaining because he's trying to run out of time. So basically, Tennessee defensive lineman Amari Thomas bumped into Mertz as he finally took a knee. And what's funny, the two guys that actually started the hitting didn't get suspended. So the guy that actually tackled didn't get suspended, and the left tackle for the Gators, who took exception and responded, didn't get suspended. So, here you go. Benches cleared, and Tennessee defensive back Kamal Haddon and Florida's Mazuka squared off like boxers. Mazuka eventually threw a punch that missed. See, that's the one I saw, and honestly, I figured that'd be a full game suspension.
yeah. That was a well. It wasn't a very good punch
No,
thrown either. He looked
but
ridiculous and didn't make contact.
that's what I thought is when you throw a punch, it's an automatic. But hey, they got half game, um, so yeah, they had to play one more down. I wish they would have just weighed the game off. But see, like I said, the criticism I have for this coach, though, they had 1st and 10 now because of the penalty. Why not take a knee? They ran their best running back, who had 172 of the 183 yards on a meaningless off tackle play. Now, I'd like to say, folks, I will be critical. I'm sorry. It's part of what I love with talking with this. And, I mean, I will salute Napier. Great game plan. This is a hell of a coach. I was surprised this result, but the second half coaching and some of that at the end of the game, that could be, those are big decisions. So, well, by the way, do you have any other thoughts about this before I say one last thing on this game?
No, go ahead.
Okay, I think I ran. I think I raged enough. Hopefully, I did. And look, we still got 8 people with us, so I haven't run that many people off. So thanks everybody for being here. Hit the like button, subscribe. But you know what this game means that I'm scheduled to have to do?
What's that?
Well, if you were here with us last Thursday night, Rambling Canuck sat in for me for as a wingman, helping me out a little bit that night. Well, I made a bet. Well, and I did it backwards. Since Florida won, the bet was that I would go on his karaoke show Saturday night and sing Rocky Top.
Oh yeah, that song that you do not like.
I know. Stop fight. Hey buddy. It's funny. The three Gators and the Tennessee guy, none of them are the ones that started the whole thing, and they're the ones that got suspended. But yeah, good to see you, buddy. And thanks for giving me that info on that earlier. Yeah, so Saturday night, I'm supposed to be with Canuck on his trivia. God, I'm getting things. His karaoke show to sing Rocky Top. So I'll try, I hate that song. God, I hate that song. But you know what? I like the Osborne brothers. So,
Well,
so but
how would you like that crow to be served up? fried, barbecued, sauteed.
Barbecue. The only way to do it in the South, barbecue the hell out of that sucker. So I know I couldn't, I couldn't do it with Florida losing, or like if Florida that because I figured Tennessee would win. I had this game as a fairly easy Tennessee win. The only thing had hope for, and it played out here, was Florida at home being a rivalry game with such a domination streak and it's the way this played out. And Joe Milton, one thing I said in a preseason show was that Tennessee would go as far as Joe Milton takes them. And I initially was going to have Tennessee winning this game, but in my preseason thing, I just stopped. And for some reason, I went with Florida even in the preseason, and Florida pulled the game out like I saw it because the quarterback play on the road. So, Lisa said barbecue. I thought Lisa was going to talk about me and karaoke, but hey, that's barbecue. Oh, yeah, buddy, Rocky Top of spaghetti all covered in good. That's a good one, my friend. All right. My football season is still alive. If we could beat Kentucky, if we could fricking beat Kentucky for once, put them back where they need to be in the doormats of the SEC East.
Oh, come on.
Bring on Georgia. But I want to wait before I say it. We'll talk about Georgia in a minute. If this coach can develop, if he can get rid of these quirks he's got with what they did with that defense against Tennessee and a credible offense, and if he can start, I can see the foundation blocks for once. I wish Small Time Republic was here because he's been telling me to relax. You got good recruiting coming in and all this stuff. So this game gave me hope. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Give me past Kentucky. That's the next thing. But we'll see. Hey, I don't know. That's why they play the game, folks. So, hey, that's Tennessee, Florida. God, I love this game this year.
Tennessee's also got a big rival. Alabama actually is a big rival, as far as the fans go.
Oh, I heard that described.
There's disdain for for Tennessee for Alabama fans.
Well, they have this last week. I listened to Sports Animal out of Knoxville because the idiots down here only want to talk Jaguars and NFL crap. I'm a college football guy. Screw the NFL. I will watch NFL, but I want to talk college football. That's it, and that's what I want during the week. And so I listened to Sports Animal, and last week they had it called Gator Hater Week. I mean, they were serving all kind of gator meats at different places, locations. It was a big thing up there. They just knew they were going to beat Florida this week, this time. But before the week ended week before the game played, somebody asked them, "Well, would you rather beat Tennessee? Would you rather beat Florida or Alabama?" And they actually said, without hesitating, Alabama. They would take a loss to Florida, but they want to beat Alabama.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Okay. All right. I know that's music to O.C. Dobbins' ears. So, all right. Well, we will move on, even though I could stay here for another 3 years. But hey, speaking of which, we were actually in Athens, Georgia last Saturday, and dumb Dadman decided to go in the third quarter across the wrong street, closer to the damn stadium. Yes, we nearly got stuck in post-game traffic. But because I wanted a gas station that had more soft drinks to choose from. But we got there. It was about 10 minutes left in the third, but it was kind of scary. I could just see Mrs. like fuming right next to me, like she was just waiting to say, "I told you so. I told you so." Because we had a station at the corner, but it was a little tighter fit. But anyway, so if you know Circle K's down south, Circle K's have a great selection of drinks, so that's what I went for. But hey, in Athens, this was a very sloppy. It was slugfest. It was wet up there. It was very overclouded. Cloudy, messy, misty day. Georgia, though, pulls out the win at home 24-14 over South Carolina Gamecocks. A game where South Carolina pulled out to 14-3 halftime lead. Georgia outscores South Carolina 21-0 in that second half, taking advantage of its running game and still passing with Carson Beck. Georgia still gained South Carolina 458-309. First down 29-17. You see again, South Carolina not an effective running game, only 53 yards running. Georgia runs for almost 100 yards and dominates time of possession also. Uh, Spencer Rattler for Carolina's 22 of 42, another about 50% performance, 256 yards, touchdown, and again, 2 picks. Carson Beck was efficient, not glorious, great numbers, no touchdowns, but no picks, 27 of 35, 269 yards. Dejon Edwards for Georgia had 20 carries for 118 yards and a touchdown. So for Georgia, slow walk fest. They played like the weather was, but the thing is, they won. You win, a conference rival, South Carolina, has shown the ability to beat some teams. I mean, remember this is the same team that went on the road and upset Clemson at Death Valley last year on the road. So, and they had a good lead here at the half, but Georgia's talent pulls away at the end. I read an article today that one of the reserve running backs for Georgia commented was commenting an article saying he had actually asked Kirby Smart at halftime or after the game at some point. He's like, "Coach, why didn't you chew us out?" Well, Kirby Smart said, "Well, I was going to, but one of the sports psychologists nearby grabbed him going into the locker room and said, 'Hey, don't go hard on them.' And he said, 'Watch what, they're going to get it. You're going to get it. Just stay with it. Just, lay off them.' So he didn't ream them out and do the stuff that coaches normally do at halftime. And you see, they went out and scored 21 points, which is a good second half output against a team like Carolina. So, any thoughts on this one, B?
South Carolina is the team that, there again, you would like to see be good. I would like to see a good South Carolina myself.
Mm-hmm.
But, they, in games like this, they can't finish. They didn't finish the game out like they started.
Mm-hmm.
If they would have just one touchdown, just get across one time, they would have had that game.
Yep.
If they would have come out of if the same team would have came out of the locker room that went in, they would have. They quite possibly could have upset the number one team.
At home. Yeah, exactly. You had it. You had a 14-3 lead. And Spencer Rattler's had a career that's been up and down. He had the glory a couple of years at Oklahoma, and then of course when they beat Florida in the bowl game, had a huge performance then, and then it's been seemingly downhill to mixed results since then. So, but now Carolina, that's a second loss on the season, first loss in the conference though. Remember they lost to North Carolina a few weeks back. Georgia though, folks, my friends, Georgia's shown some weakness and vulnerability, especially with the quarterback position. Even though the numbers are efficient, they're there. It's just, you start to wonder, how much longer can Georgia keep skidding by on some of these games? And we could talk about, a bigger topic when we get a little further ahead. But so Georgia does the job. It holds serve at home, and they move on. And Dadman didn't get stuck in traffic and really get blessed out. I would have deserved it if I got stuck on that side of the road. I was like, I forgot how close where that was to the university over there.
But was the soda worth the risk?
Yes, it was. That was a Diet Dr. Pepper. I was tired of Diet Coke, so yes, it was. But you know what's so freaky was where I started freaking out was I didn't expect them to be tailgating in the damn parking lot. This is at least a mile or two. This is still miles or so from the stadium. If you park there and walk, you still have got a long walk to do. I don't know how people get to games there. I've thought it before traveling around. Where's the parking? And
it's all over campus.
Well, and then in the Circle K parking lot, they actually have people out there tailgating, watching it on TV in the parking lot. I'm like,
yeah,
damn.
that's one thing that I love about the college, the atmosphere at games.
Mm-hmm.
It is the tailgating, and you'll have people outside the game that just go there just to tailgate and have a big screen, and they're watching the game with the stadium feet away.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess it's just part of being around the atmosphere.
One day I got to see. I think they did something similar with the Florida Georgia game too. Um, but maybe one time I'll take my youngest down there for that and just go sit outside the stadium. But it's like at that point, it's like I'm gonna be comfortable. I don't know. It's if I got a ticket inside the stadium, it's one thing. Hanging out outside, standing the whole time might be a little bit different. But
There'll
all
be people
right,
that have a whole setup. They'll have like your gazebo or
mm-hmm.
your canopy set up. They got the barbecue going. They got chairs out, and they're just having a ball as if they're at the house.
Tailgate cooking at your car's bumper was never specified where you parked. Oh, yeah. Well, I will say the missus found me a gas pump. She's like, "Here, pull there," and we actually got gas too. So I gassed up for a return trip the next day too. So we got out of there fortunately. So all right, so that's the Georgia Bulldogs. Moving on, we'll go get through some of these to make up some time. But Kentucky dispatches Akron. Statistically, not much in terms of first downs, but Devin Leary for Kentucky, 16 to 25, 315 yards, 3 touchdowns, a pick. Ray Davis, the Vanderbilt transfer, had 7 carries for 72 yards, had a 55-yard touchdown run, and had 3 catches for 97 yards, including a 55-yard touchdown pass. Caddis had a 6-yard touchdown pass from Leary, which marked the first time Kentucky scored on its opening drive this season. So that's how far I had to go to find something statistical about this to say, because it's really, this is another one of those games of you do your job, move in advance. So, all right. Any comments with it being Kentucky, or we'll just keep
Well,
it?
with it being Kentucky, my brother-in-law is a
Mhm.
huge Kentucky fan,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and he's one of these fanatics.
Mhm.
All the kids got to leave the room. He was, unless he's hollering at the TV, and if it's a
Yeah.
bad call, he's hollered, he's cheered, he's all over the couches. He is one huge Kentucky fan. He got a the UK tattooed on his calf.
Oh,
You
man.
know, and one thing I could say is his watching his excitement for Kentucky is it's more fun watching him than watching the games a lot of times.
Hmm.
And he makes me enjoy the games just because he's there, or if I'm over there with him. That's one thing I enjoy about it. Probably the only thing I can really enjoy
Hmm.
about Kentucky, other than they can sometimes they can be a dark horse that can knock off an unexpected team.
Hmm.
And they're a good Kentucky. I think would also equal a good SEC. Just to
Hmm.
have like we discussed earlier, just to have a team that's not always in the light, to have them up there would be. I think it would be a fun. I think it would be fun to watch them. You know, hold off and be up there in the number one spot. It would be pretty cool to see. I think.
Hmm. Buddy says there's always one. Yep. By the way, I just put a poll out there, folks. We got 9 people watching. What's your favorite tailgating food? I'm not necessarily watching a game at home, but when you go out, like if you're doing it, because you could, I put out there hot dogs, hamburgers, barbecue. Sometimes part of tailgating is if you like to cook and grill and stuff, that or subs or sandwiches are also a tailgate type thing, even though they're pre-made or something. So let's
Chicken
have some.
wings.
I know chicken wings was an option too, but I went with and Lisa there bratwurst. Okay, consider the hot dogs bratwurst also. Okay, I will clarify that. If you vote for bratwurst, if you want bratwurst, vote hot dogs. Okay, there's something in that family. See, something in the weenie family, like my character from Fortnite. So, all right, so let's move on with Kentucky. Yeah, I'm okay with Kentucky. I just don't want her to beat my Gators. That's all. Okay, you beat Georgia and everybody else, but just not my Gators. Ole Miss dispatches Georgia Tech, one of the rare wins the SEC's had over the ACC this year. 550 yards of offense. Georgia Tech, though, almost 500 yards of offense. That's a remarkable thing. And folks, Georgia Tech throws the ball 300 yards this year. Before they could not throw at all. But Georgia Tech had the ball 2-1 compared to Ole Miss, but a game of big plays. Offense for Ole Miss. It shows you that the whole time of possession stuff. Uh, there you go. Vote the way you want to. There you go. That's the spirit. That's the spirit. But Jackson Dart, 10 of 18, 251 yards, a touchdown. Also had 14 carries for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. Haynes King for Georgia Tech, 28 of 41, 307 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. So Jordan Watkins for Ole Miss had 4 catches, 119 yards, including a 68-yard touchdown pass. He had 4 of the team's 10 receptions. So big game, big efforts by Ole Miss here in this game. You got any thoughts with this one, B?
No, sir. Go ahead.
All right, cool. And then, LSU, Mississippi State. This is a game I wanted to talk about, but we're not going to waste a lot of time because I know we're having such a good time with where we are, and we still got where to go. This game was disappointing. I'm really disappointed in Mississippi State. I think the coach he's tried to go so hard, so far, so fast from what Mike Leach used to do with the air raid offense that I think he's destroying his team. They're a 2-1 out possession and time of possession, 26, only 10 first downs. They only threw for 100 yards with a quarterback that's got a talented arm. What is going on in Starkville? The Cowbells cannot help you with that kind of performance. LSU just jumped out massively. Some of the LSU coaches and fans say that their players don't play well at 12 local. Well, this is a noon local kickoff, if not 11 a.m., and they came out on fire. Jaden Daniels was 30 of 34, almost perfect at 361 yards, 2 touchdowns, ran the ball 15 times also for 64 yards and 2 scores on the ground. Malik Neighbors for LSU had 13 catches, 239 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The Tigers outgained the Bulldogs 310 to 79 yards in the first half and went to the half with a 24-7 lead. So, and LSU now has won 21 of 24 games in the series dating back to 2000. LSU has won last 3 games in Starkville. So much for home advantage and the Cowbells. And Buddy likes grilled burgers and linguica sandwiches. Oh, cool. All right. So, hey, B, I know you become kind of a guy that's kind of rooted for Mississippi State a little bit, but any thoughts with this one?
Yeah, well, the Cowbells went just weren't enough, and they went from Hail State to Hail State.
That's it. LSU got healthy very quickly, So we'll see what that bodes for the rest of the SEC season. That's a game where Florida has to go play at LSU later in the year, and I'm kind of worried about that game now. But you never know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
So
I hear going to LSU is rough, real rough going to LSU for any fans.
You want the day game there. You don't want a night game because the Cajuns get liquored up.
The atmosphere can be dangerous at night.
Exactly. It's that's why they call it Death Valley. But hey, we'll see what happens with that in a few weeks. But yeah, LSU got healthy very quick on Mississippi State. It's really sad to see that Will Rogers. I think of the writer, the poet. What is it, Will Rogers? That guy. The quarterback's Will Rogers, and he's had a good career, and just right now seeing that kind of effort, just the number of pass attempts are way down. It just seems like it's one of these things. Will the coach be hard-headed, or will he play according to what he has at his disposal?
Yeah.
Common thing with these coaches.
11 for 28. Wow.
Yeah, it's rough. Oh, hey, I missed. Oops, Dadman messed up here.
Uh-oh.
Oops. Hey, I forgot to include the stats in the middle. Oh well, that's why we can have. Blame me, not misses for that. This is my fault, but hey, I quality control. Dadman gets 20 push-ups, so that's it. But hey, listen, this is a hell of a game. This is a game of the week here, folks. Missouri upsets 15-ranked Kansas State 30-27. You look, the stats are very even in terms of total yards, time of possession. Kansas State had a little bit of an advantage. Brady Cook from Missouri was 23 of 35, 356 yards, 2 touchdowns. Luther Burden for Missouri had 7 catches for 114 yards and 2 touchdowns. Will Howard for Kansas City was 25 at 39, 270 yards, had 3 touchdown passes and interceptions. Yeah, I know, Lisa. I know. I, I I forgot to go back to that one, but hey, fill it. Hey, as long as you fill it in and you still with 408 total and 430 total, then it's fine. So exactly for math people, Brady Cook 356 passing, when that means it would be 74 yards rushing to get you to the 430. And if you take Will Howard's 270, then it would be 270, it'd be 138 rushing for Kansas State. So see, I did math in my head right there on a short notice. But hey, what made mark this game was not only the upset of Kansas State by Missouri, but Harrison Mevis, their kicker, made all 3 of his extra points, was 3 of 4 of his field goals, but he also hit a game-winning 61-yard field goal, which I think it was more like 62 yards when I saw the video as time expired. Folks, that means he kicked it from beyond midfield. These are rare field goals to have. 61-yard field goal, good, and then the fans stormed the field, which then resulted in Missouri being fined for the first time under the new SEC storm the field policy, where the school is fined $100,000 for fans coming onto the field. But you know what? At that point, it's like, screw you. We're going to have fun, especially when you're in misery. Why not? You got to have a reason to celebrate. B, any other thoughts with this one?
Other than I don't think Missouri should be SEC, but Kansas State. I've had family that was in the military and in Kansas, and as far as the atmosphere and all, I've heard, if we were in that area, we would probably be K-State fans, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Just hearing about how the atmosphere is and how it's much like Auburn is, that we would probably be end up being K-State fans if we were in that area.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, hey, what was so incredible, that 61-yard field goal? It's like,
Yes, and that was from right about the left hash mark, wasn't it?
I think it was. It was just straight, just to kick the ball that distance, just amazing.
Yes, yeah. It was about a 48-yard line of the
Yep.
opposite side
That's
of the
why.
field.
Yep, exactly, and that's why I thought it should have been a 62-yard field goal. I think they robbed him of a yard on that one. So, that was a big upset for last week. So really, we had some good games this week in the conference. But let's move on to the next one that's not so good. But hey, as a preview for your game this week, Louisiana Monroe went on the road. I call them the Duck Dynasty School, because that's from that town down there where they are. Went on the road, got crushed by Texas A&M, 47-3 in an ultimate paycheck game. A&M had the ball 10 more minutes, out at 28-8 first downs, and as you can see, domination on through all the offensive categories. Connor Wegman for A&M was 25 of 29 for 337 yards, a touchdown, and had a 19-yard running touchdown. 2 A&M players had 100-plus yards receiving, and Ania Smith, 7 catches for 127 yards, and Jade Walker, 5 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown. Texas A&M scored the final 32 points of the game after holding a 10-3 lead after Louisiana Monroe field goal at 13-19 in the second quarter. So it was a slow start for A&M, but they pulled away very quickly and moved on. So
yeah, once that ball got rolling for them, they just steamrolled it.
Yep, exactly. How you feel about Missouri, I feel about Missouri, but I also feel like Texas A&M. I never really wanted them in the SEC. I actually don't know that I really want Texas and Oklahoma in the SEC.
Yeah. It seems with when your conference is a geographical area
mm-hmm.
of the map, I think it should be teams that's our southeastern conference.
Mm-hmm.
The southeastern teams.
Exactly, and we'll talk about that a little bit. I'm going to hold off on that until we get to the stage, and we'll just tell you why I think with that, because there's some news, some rumors I've heard out of Knoxville also coming up. But I think this is the last game we have for last week. Vanderbilt goes on the road and loses at UNLV. So, folks, you want to feel sorry for Vanderbilt. You want to cheer for the guys, and they can't win games that they need to win. They lost last week on the road at Wake Forest. They lose this game. That could have been 4-0, only 2 wins needed to be bowl eligible. So expect Vanderbilt to end up not making a bowl again this year because of losing games that they need to win. When you're a small school like this, you need to win those games where you're evenly matched. But
Yes,
so
exactly.
AJ Swan for Vandy was 17 to 35, below 50% for 335 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Jaden Mavia for UNLV was 19 to 33, 261 yards, had a touchdown and an interception. Jose Pisano for UNLV was 4-4 on his extra points, 4-5 on field goals, including the go-ahead eventual game winner 36-yard field goal with 5 seconds remaining. This is a game of streaks. Vandy scored the first 17 points, went up 17-0. UNLV went up, got the next 30 points, it got 30-17. Then Vanderbilt scored the next 13 to tie it at 30-30 before ultimately we ended up with the 40-37 results. Vanderbilt also 4 turnovers. You can't go on the road and survive with turnovers like that. Any other thoughts on this one?
No.
Okay, so other than it's hard to feel sorry for Vanderbilt. They're getting better. You can see it, but they've got to win these games. They can't lose to UNLV and all if they're going to try to make a bowl game. So, hello. Hey, I think we just got rated on the Twitch side. Hey, I got rated by 6 people on the Twitch side. Hey, welcome, everybody.
Hey,
Make sure you
welcome
follow me.
everybody from Twitch.
Yeah, follow me over there on Twitch. We're on the Twitch side too. And if you're on the YouTube, make sure you subscribe, like. We're trying to get everywhere. We're getting close to 100 on the Twitch side. So, but thank you, Jeff, for coming in. Jeff is here saying howdy. Light Fury Twitch is here. Hey, nice first time chat. SBD girl, Jess. Hey, Jess. Just trying to see. Rolling Chairs is in here. Wow. Whoa. Hey. Good to see all of y'all there. Hopefully, I caught everybody over there. Just looked up and saw it. So, thank you, folks. And Jess comes in already throwing down the links and stuff onto the YouTube and the Twitter side. Thank you so much. And all right. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Hey, thank you, everybody. I think I got a notification for a follow on the Twitch side. Thank you. Like your Twitch. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right. So, oh, wait, we got 15 here now watching, 8 on the Twitch side and 7 on the YouTube side. Hey, thanks, folks. Thanks for coming in. Hopefully you enjoy it. Unfortunately, you're coming in a little bit late from when I went on a rampage about the Florida-Tennessee game. Jess, it was a classic rampage of rampages. It's probably one of those clippable ones that, anyway. So it's all good to see you folks tonight. Hey, Jeff, let's see. Jeff said, I'm a pro when it comes to football. I know all quarters and the nickels and dollars too. Exactly. Oh, and Jess was putting back when I had Jeff on and we had a chill chat talking about the great state of Alaska. So it was awesome. So a good time we had. So we're just finishing up the week that was in the SEC. Stay with us. And folks, if you're new to the channel, feel free to ask questions related to football, whether it's SEC specific or teams. You got questions about rules or if something happened, feel free to ask questions. Don't this is the statistical kind of heavy stuff. About to get in with B&O. We're going to talk some the intangible stuff. I mean, wow, we've been going a long time already, and wow, B, good. This is quite fun tonight. One thing I want to talk about is as a result of the last week's action, this is where the conference currently sits after 3 weeks in the season. Well, 4 if you can include week 0, because you notice Vanderbilt has played 4 games because they played at Hawaii the first week. No surprise with Georgia on top and LSU on top of both sides, but really nobody else has really played much in the conference other than Mississippi State, who got crushed by LSU, and then Florida, Tennessee, of course, with that. So a lot to be said here. But you had mentioned about South Carolina being good, right? About them being good. One of the rumors that I had heard, and we talked about the new conference realignment that's coming up. The talk is they still have not decided how they're going to do it, which is Texas and Oklahoma. But what I'm hearing is that they are staying with 8 games and not going 9 because of ESPN. What is at risk are some of the classic matchups. And this is why I'm not a fan of all this expansion. That's why I don't think it's great that Oklahoma and Texas are coming in. I don't. Or if you bring them in, get rid of Vanderbilt and Missouri or something.
Yes.
Do something to balance it, because what I heard, that's one of the rivalries that could be gone, would be Florida Tennessee. That they would keep South Carolina as a permanent opponent of Tennessee, because I think the thought would be getting rid of the East West concept. I don't like this, folks. I like some of these natural rivalries that have developed over the course of the last 20 to 30 years. What do you think towards that with the rivalries and the continuous expansion?
Yeah, if they're going to, I don't think expanding, maybe moving teams around, yes. But I'm like you, the Missouris, a Midwest conference maybe, Texas A&M, maybe same thing, and like you say, I don't like missing the Florida and Tennessee rivalry, the South Carolina, um, uh, I can't, I'm missing drawing a blank here, but the Alabama Tennessee rivalry, if that should be up, there's no sense in losing. The SEC rivalries are almost some of the biggest in the country. Why would you want to split any of them up?
Yeah. See, now the only one I think that benefits is probably Texas A&M, because they're going to get that game back with Texas, the Longhorns, which when they left the Big 12, that was a case of another thing where expansion took away a natural rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Every year, Thanksgiving Thanksgiving weekend game. I mean, and that's what I see. You'd ask about NIL off air. This is some of the stuff that I see as a threat to the beauty of college football.
Mm-hmm. But why can't they have those as non-conference games, but still keep the rivalry games in?
Yeah, that's where I think that the danger for college football is this day and age, that they're getting so about the big conferences, so about the money, and that it's going to hurt a lot of the intangible factors that make college football what it is today. And we'll have to see where the chips may. You can't stop it because the genie's out of the bottle. We've now got the Big 12 that's going to be truly coast to coast with Pac-12 teams from Washington and Oregon all the way to the East Coast, up into Rutgers, up in New Jersey. You got the ACC with whatever god-awful mess it did, where it brought in not just SMU, but damn teams on the coast of California, Stanford and UCLA.
Yeah, and it would seem as though with the way
Stanford and Cal, I'm sorry. UCLA was a big one.
But it would seem as though with the way things are and the travel expenses, why would you want to have conference games like that and have the travel expenses for the teams to have to, travel coast to coast like that?
Thank you, Jess. Good luck at work, but thank you for doing all that and dropping the links off. Appreciate it as always. One of the things that it's like I said, it's ever changing right now. We were talking off air about the NIL, which that's an issue of itself. But now the thing with all this realignment, all this other stuff, the traditional rivalries. I mean, it's one thing to expand, but like as a Gator fan, I've gotten used to that Tennessee matchup, third game of the season in September, and ruining my evil enemy's season in third game of the year every freaking year. It's like It's so much fun, and yeah, I mean, I never gotten into Missouri though.
Yeah,
even
I
when
haven't
Florida's
either.
good, even when Florida's good and they play, I don't even want to watch the game because usually Florida struggles. It's boring. I don't like. It's never been a team that fits, and it's the only one of any of these schools that when Florida plays, I'm not excited about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Vanderbilt only because they suck, but then again Vanderbilt beat us last year, so got to start taking them seriously. But it's still it was just I don't know, just something with it, but it's just going to be an interesting thing. And we've talked about it some of our other stuff, and we need to move on. So, but yes, but here's the current state of the standings right here. Like I said, I'm looking for that Kentucky game, which if Florida can get past Kentucky, now Florida's going to lose to LSU at LSU. I'm sure about that. And but I think I feel better for Florida's schedule with Arkansas coming home. If Florida can slip by Kentucky, expect that they lose to LSU. I'm starting to get a weird, creepy feeling. No, not that kind of creepy feeling, folks. I'm waiting for some people out there to make comments, Lisa, but it's or Jess. From what I'm seeing about Georgia, that game in Jacksonville on the neutral site, maybe I don't know, not yet. I've got to see a lot more to happen. I'm trying to say bad dad man. Don't be that happy. You're being too happy. But anyway, folks, so as you can see, it's wide open with more games coming, and we'll look at this week's games coming up in just a second. So B from O, now we're going to talk to you for a few minutes. Oh my gosh, we've been going a long time, almost an hour and a half, and we have not even gotten to the halfway
Oh,
point.
wow.
But it's been fun. I love this, and as much time as you want, we got. And thank you for hanging out in the chat, all y'all. We still got 13 people with us. Like I said, feel free to drop in some questions if you have about football, or if you see numbers or something, or if we say something, feel free to ask. And if you're lurking, thank you for lurking. What is your earliest memory of football? Do you have a memory of when you like your first game watching, or what got you into football?
Um, well, being like I mentioned earlier, I was born in Gainesville and grew up just down the road there in a little place. You may know it, Ocala. So I've
Yeah,
all
horse
kind of
country of Florida.
pretty pretty much was born into it,
Mm-hmm.
and it really enjoyed the Gators for the longest time, and
Mm-hmm.
then kind of shifted more towards Auburn whenever we kind of moved up into this area where we're at now.
Mm-hmm.
And my I think a lot of it comes from my granddad always being an Auburn fan,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of memories made, and still making with him, going to ball games and such as that, uh, even sitting up in the nosebleeds with him, it was always just being in the atmosphere and being in the atmosphere with him, I think really pulled me, more into it and more into being an Auburn fan.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool because when we passed through Auburn, or through Alabama a while back, I noticed that they had a Whataburger that had an Auburn logo on it. I thought it was pretty dang funny.
Yeah,
Because I
and
knew they take I know that they take their football very seriously over there in Alabama, like they
yes,
do in Florida.
yes, and I've been to several Auburn games, both with my granddad worked with a company that the owners were alumni members, so they would always get season passes, and the games that they would pass up, or he was always, from my understanding, he was the main one that they would ask, because I guess because he'd been with the company so long,
Mm-hmm.
if he would want the tickets, so he would always get tickets, for whatever games they either couldn't make or didn't want to go to, and just going and being, in that in that space and in that area, watching the ball games, being around the other fans there, the cheering, the eagle flying, and that was always so much fun, and then also, like I mentioned, going to and working in the concession stands was always so
Mm-hmm.
much fun. Yeah, I almost never knew what quarter it was because it was always so busy.
Yeah. Yeah, I always like going to games. I never worked concession stands like that, but I tell you, I salute the people that have to and stuff. We
We would go up with about 15 to 20 kids, and they would rotate out between what they would do is, they would be doing drinks, or they'd be doing snacks, or they'd be doing popcorn, or working the front counter. Those of us, those that could calculate everything up. But it was hectic, but it was also a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Just even the fans. You would think that they would. It's waiting in this long line. Everybody would be upset, but everybody was always just you know pretty nice and cordial to everybody that was up there.
Mhm.
They would say that they would have like the church name up there on there. This booth is run by so and run by the church, and they was always so nice, except for what the story that I told you there before going on.
Yeah.
We had one of
Well,
our kids up there working up front there, and I think it was one of the students there. He was fumbling through getting his money out and pulled out his bag of let's see,
stuff.
the bag of stuff
Yeah.
fell out.
Yes.
His bag of party favors fell out
Yes. There you go.
on the on the counter, and uh, after the money exchange there, the kid looked back at me and he was like, "Was that what I think it was?" I said, "It absolutely was what you think it was." And we had us a big laugh over that. It's just moments like that and things like that, really stick out, and it's just so much fun. Where else are you going to get something like that? And it was
Yeah.
like, oh, it was just like, oh, sorry, and just pulled it back, stuck it in his pocket, and walked off.
Nope. I know. Memories like that. Yeah. You talk about the concession stands. I remember one time we had an ACC championship game, and you know, people got tired of it. The first year was Florida State, Virginia Tech sellout. Then the next year it was like we got Georgia Tech and Wake Forest in the rain, and it became a 9-6 field goal battle. And I go
Hmm.
watch any kind of football. I'm probably one of the few people that watched all 3 years of the ACC championship game here. Then the third year, because see, they got mad, said the city didn't support it, so they took it to Carolina and all this crap. Of course, they're getting Clemson and all that now, real matchups.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get Wake Forest and Georgia Tech. They didn't get Virginia Tech and Boston College, the smallest flipping. I mean, they had like 20 people in the damn marching band. How is and you're talking about in the Southeast, it's you know, a
High
manager of a
school high
Longhorn was
school
about the
teams
only
got bigger
person.
bands, huh?
Yeah, and the manager at Longhorn from Boston, he had the only one of the few people with connection up there. But I mean, it was like, so we got there. We were in the upper deck because I bought the cheaper seats that I could. It's so dead now. We got up there. There's nobody in the upper deck. Nobody. There may be about 5 people down on our side further down. We that day we had our own bathrooms, our own concession stand. I felt bad for the concession people, but it was like we had it all. They were up there trying so hard. Hey, all right, Jeff, take care. Thanks for the raid and thanks for coming in. You take care. We're gonna have lots of fun. But what they did was they were trying to get us, hey, get lower and hey, pay and move your seats down. And we're like, no, we got it made. We don't have anybody around us. We have a higher angle to look down. We got private potties and we
Yeah,
could
and you ain't got
even
to look over nobody.
yeah, we could eat off the floor if we wanted to. It was so clean in those bathrooms, and nobody was in there. And so, and
We've actually went to ball games, smaller ball
yeah,
games,
yeah,
and towards the end of the second quarter,
mm,
we would move down if we wanted
yep,
to,
yeah,
and nobody would hassle us,
yeah,
like
exactly. Yeah,
nobody.
and you didn't have
We
to
we
pay
got
for
we
it.
got
Yeah,
down there almost mingling in the band at one of the smaller Auburn games, almost
oh
mingling
wow,
down there with right there
wow,
in
that,
the student section, right there next to the bands, and just had ourselves a big time until we froze, and and by then it was like, okay, it's too cold, let's go.
it's too cold. Gotta go home. Oh, we can do it. Yeah, nothing like having a thunderstorm move through the halftime like that happened to me and Mrs. at a Florida Georgia game with. It was like 90 and like unbearably hot and humid in the afternoon, and then all of a sudden it was like storm blow through, you're soaking wet, and it's like dropped 30 degrees, and the wind picked up 20 miles an hour.
Hmm.
So
We had something like that, during one of my a UAB game we went to, and uh, support my son that was in the UAB band. I think I told you that off air too. Um, I mean, it got raining, and every time we'd get hit about the 28-minute mark, we'd have another lightning strike, and so that would be another 30 minutes.
Oh
And
gosh.
it just got too cold. It's like, hey son, we got to go. Have a good game.
Yeah.
Call us
My
whenever you get back to the dorm or something. We're going home.
I'm
And it was
sorry that
already getting
yeah,
like 11, 12 o'clock.
I
It's
know.
like,
I don't know what to think about these delays in football because in the old days you just played through lightning and everything. I mean, now they use the lightning delays and stuff, but it's like I mean, you always stop for baseball because it can be uh, hard to play in safety because of the batted ball thrown. You got to be able to see it. But football was always a sport you just kept playing in all kinds of weather. Baseball, golf, those type you stop because there's reasons for
mm-hmm.
doing it with the massing water. But football was a game where you could just play in the mud and keep playing all. I mean, nobody cared about the lightning, but I'm sure with lawyers and everything else, it's kind of different and a different age. But hey, oh, wow. Those are some good memories. You got any other particular memories that are kind of fun or interesting revolving around football that you can think of?
Not right offhand now. Not,
Well,
that was quite a few of them.
it sounded like you also had a connection with your granddad, if I heard that right, too. That's
Yes,
something.
yes,
Yeah.
to Auburn and that's that really, we was always tight, and it was just always, the memories of going to the games with him, they're going to far exceed, you know, any other memories really, just you know, hey, he called me up on like
Mm-hmm.
Thursday, Wednesday night or Thursday. Hey, I got Auburn tickets. You want to go? I was like, uh, I got something
Yep.
to do, but yeah, definitely I'll be there.
Yes. We all find a way to do what we really want to do. It's
Mm-hmm.
like it's like you want to play Fortnite? No, I really need to pay bills. Well, I got time for Fortnite. Yeah, sure, let's go. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Don't care. I'm ready.
Where are we
I can,
dropping?
I can, yeah, I can work. I can sleep at work tomorrow. No, I didn't say that, but it's just,
I got one more game. One more game. All
one
right.
more game, one more at 4 o'clock in the morning. So,
3 hours
uh,
later.
well, one more question about football memories. What is probably the greatest game or greatest game memory that you can remember that you were at? Now, as an Auburn, well, let me ask it in two standpoints. As an Auburn fan, because there's some Auburn, Alabama plays that I remember. As an Auburn fan, whether you were there or not, what is the greatest play that you recall seeing that just
One of my
sticks as a
favorites
memory?
is probably the Miracle on the Planks, the
Okay,
missed field goal and run back.
yes. Go ahead and describe that for everybody.
Um, I believe that may have actually been one of the games I was working the concession stand in. And
Oh, really? Oh
yes,
my
so
God! What a
so we were all thinking, okay, it's what 3 seconds left or whatever, and we were actually cleaning up, thinking everything. All right, and then next thing we know, we hear the crowd just go crazy, and we're like, "What is going on?" And we got the TV screen, so we look up, and we're like, "Holy cow! Auburn just run. What was it? 100 from the
like
end zone,
109 yards.
109 yards all the way back to win it."
Now
But
in
it was just,
college, yeah, go ahead.
it just the concessionaires are underneath, but just to hear the whole stadium just erupt like that.
Did it feel like an earthquake?
Oh, it was yeah, it did. The stomping and the cheering and the hollering, it was insane.
Wow. I mean, I figured you would say that game because I mean, I don't know who could, because I was watching that at an in law's house and I'm sitting there like, and I had the presence of mind to put a returner back there. Now, of course, in the NFL, it would have gone from the part he caught it, but in college, they limit it all to 100. They don't count the yardage in the end
Yes.
zone. But yeah, so officially it was a 100-yard return, even though it was 109, close to 110, because it was not bad by much. It nearly made it. And he caught it in the back of the end zone and just took off.
That was
Good.
one of those things where it's like, okay, if I don't catch it and run it, it's over. If I catch it and run it and I'm down, it's the only thing that we have. So, but just to watch, just to be in that
If you
atmosphere with it was just incredible.
and if you watch games more anymore on the longer field goals, the coaches are starting to do that more often, of putting a return guy back because it makes sense strategically. Because
Hmm.
the whole thing is when you punt for it's based on your alignments of your formations. See now when you punt the ball, which is you're kicking it on purpose to the other team, the ball is higher, it has more hang time. Your defenders can get down there closer to the player receiving the ball. They have their pursuit angles, lanes. They all converge when you're kicking a field goal, you're not planning on going down to tackle anybody.
No,
Your
you're not.
your goal is to block so that the kicker can get the ball up and over the line towards the goalpost. So when you miss the field goal short and the returnment's coming, you don't have players in lanes. You do not have gap coverage. Plus, also, you probably got a lot of big chunky guys that are only so fast that can easily be outrun or outmaneuvered, in the open field. So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
but
and,
that was
and
a
and the
great
fact
move.
that everybody is all in one place. Normally they're not scattered
No,
like you was talking about
no.
in your punt formations or your kickoffs. They're, all the linemen are right there.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's expecting a run back like that.
Nope, nope. So hey, now I like I said, I knew you were going to have to say that game somehow. But in terms of a game that you actually watched, like say with your granddad or a special memory, is there any like a game that you actually watched that still sticks to with you as a special memory?
Mm, none that really stick out like that. I would say
Okay,
none that really stick out like
right.
that, like you was talking about like that. But just like I said before, it was more about being in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
and just you know spending that time.
Yeah, even though you didn't see it, you were still witness to the sound and the screaming and everything that was accompanying it. Yeah, that is. Here we go. Put my football back up there. I realized so, but yeah, well, that's awesome. So, well, thanks for sharing that. Appreciate that. Yeah, because we all have different memories, things that sit. Yeah, but that was for an Auburn fan. It's hard to beat that. One of the memories I have with Auburn is one when they played Georgia a few years ago, and Uga tried to bite the Auburn player.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was a funny one. And I also remember two things that I remember. It was probably 87. I made straight A's. My dad gave me season tickets one year, but he left my brother in law to take me down there. I really wish my dad had done it, but my brother in law was okay. But it was still, we were there for the Auburn Florida game. Kerwin Bell had been on the bench because he had come off a knee injury. Robert McGinney was the kicker for Auburn. I don't know if Bo was still there. I don't. It might have been before Bo days. I can't remember. Maybe Bo was playing in '87, but basically Auburn got ahead. Bell come back off the bench, rallied the Gators, and it was like 16-10 or something. And we were in the low corner of the southeast end zone, and and Bell managed to scramble, and they threw a touchdown pass. The touchdown happened right in front of us in our quarter of the end zone, with like less than a minute left. Then they went for two because then back then you didn't have overtime; it was either tie or go for two. So they went for two to get the win. Bell and his hobbling knee reverse field came over and he scored the 2-point conversion right in front of us. You
Oh
know,
wow.
so, and then of course Auburn missed the field goal at the end. Florida won. So that's one of my in-person memories. But the worst Auburn memory was, well, actually, no, it was a good Auburn memory. It was a bad Georgia memory, in that uh, the year I think was it 85? Yeah, it was probably 85. Florida goes to Auburn, wins 24-3. Number one for the first time ever to lose to the Georgia Bulldogs next week. So I tell you what, Auburn is a team I miss. I honestly would rather Florida be playing Auburn every year than LSU.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never got into the LSU thing. I mean, my dad, my uncle, and I saw a Gator game in the '70s when I was a kid in Gainesville with LSU there. But Auburn felt more natural as a rival than LSU has ever felt to me. But when they realigned, when they expanded, whatever, Auburn fell off the schedule. We got LSU. So
Hmm.
go figure. They can't even spell the word go right. So anyway, so we got
What the GEUX?
GAUX or something. Yeah, yeah,
GAUX.
yeah, yeah. But hey, we got 10 people with us still, folks. Hey, thank you for staying with us, and we're going to move into the back part of our show here. We're going to get into this week's action and talk picks, and but first, where we do it, make sure you've hit that like button, subscribe on this YouTube side, and thank you for another follow over on the Twitch side. We're at 90 now. Thank you so much, and let's have fun. Don't forget, put your comments, questions, and stuff in here. But we're going to take a look at the AP Top 25 really quickly. I went through this on Sunday night on my little recap show, but basically we got Georgia still number one, and now you only have one team in the top 10 from the SEC. Alabama and LSU both losing. You see Ole Miss is moving up to 15th, so this week their game against Alabama has a lot laying on the line. You can see different conferences. Big 12, Pac 12 are in really well represented. Big 12 also. Oregon State, Beavers, my other team, is up to 14th there. And, go through the poll, ACC, the typical conferences that are in there. Tennessee falls 12 spots to 23rd by its loss to Florida. That's quite a drop. I didn't expect them to fall that far. And, of course, the Gators make its debut at number 25 in the AP poll. Right behind Iowa. So there's now 6 teams in the AP Top 25 that are from the Southeastern Conference. We look at the coaches poll. There are only 5. Florida is not in there, but UCLA did join the top 25. It's kind of always fun to watch to see how Washington State actually joined. UCLA stayed at 25, did not move up this week. But it's always interesting to see when you have similarities and differences between the two polls. A lot of them are very similar in terms of the top 20. A lot of teams are still there, but near in the bottom, a few differences. Florida's in one, not in the other. So it's Clemson's in the coaches poll, but not an AP poll. So go figure. So basically 5 teams in this poll. Tennessee also fell 11 spots. So obviously the pollsters did not like that loss at Tennessee that Tennessee had at Gainesville, and they paid for it. So, because I tell you what, B, I was about to take Tennessee to win the East this year, but I really thought hard on it, and I know Georgia struggled with Carson Beck, but they're still winning. But Tennessee and Joe Milton just had a bad feeling that at some point it was going to crop up its ugly head, and it did in Gainesville. And actually, what's got Tennessee fans upset is the previous week against Austin Peay that they struggled so bad in that game, winning by 17 points. So, you remember those paycheck games where everybody's like, you hate playing them because either you blow them out and it gets boring, or you play them and struggle to beat them. So,
yeah. Well, here's one thing. Sometimes those paycheck games can also expose a weakness.
mm-hmm.
That may have been unknown. Whenever you got a team that doesn't really have much to lose, they're going to try to pull out different stops. Just to at least make a good showing.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Of course, I wish our friend JT Kirk was here because he's a Spartan fan from Michigan State, but he loves it when I bring up how App State beat Michigan in the Big House that year. Oh, gosh. So, yeah, a paycheck game that went awry,
Yeah, that's the one that I don't think Michigan State's going to live down.
No, they're going to. I mean, they got their own problems. So, anytime your rival you can make miserable or remind them of bad memories, you go for it. So, well, with that, folks, let's look at this week's matchups in the SEC. We're going here. We got start off big game of the week: Ole Miss and Alabama. Ole Miss really offensively on fire this year. Again, Jackson Dart's both running and throwing. Quidon Junkins has not run as much as for yardage as he had last year, but the emergence of some of the receivers for Ole Miss has been amazing, and to see very balanced offense. One week they win by running the ball more than they pass. Another weeks they pass a lot more than they run. So very efficient offense and very open to whatever it is. I guess it comes down to coaching. But can Lane Kiffin finally win a game against uh, Nick Saban? Ole Miss is on the road at Alabama. And Alabama, even though, like I said, I'm not. Jalen Milroe is now the quarterback again, starting quarterback. But how does he respond with this? What's the play calling? Are they going to use his running ability to some degree, or are they going to stick with the traditional pocket type of offense? These questions have to be answered with what's going to happen. This is really an interesting game. And B, we don't do our picks right now. We will do the picks after this. This is kind of where we just talk about the games this week, some opening thoughts. So basically, this game, it's like one of my preview things that we said last year. Ole Miss was the 0-4 against the big teams in the West: Alabama, Texas A&M, Mississippi State. The teams that they need to beat to win the SEC West. LSU, they were 0-4 last year, and it's a big time. I mean, if you're going to win the division, you've got to beat Alabama.
Yes, that's you've got to beat Alabama to be in the West there to to even be in consideration of it to take that.
Mm-hmm. So that's where I see with this game this week. There can be a lot here with it. I don't think you can take a lot off that USF game though, and against Alabama. I think maybe they were looking ahead to Ole Miss, also sleepwalking a little. You get in a rivalry game, things happen, things different, and Ole Miss is at Alabama. Look at Tennessee going into Gainesville last week, or Tennessee when they went into Athens last year. Actually look at Tennessee both last year at Athens and at South Carolina, and now Florida. All three road games they got crushed. A team that was up and coming, but had a lot of high hopes. So, all right, so that's Alabama Ole Miss. With that, there was actually something. This is a game I did some research with it real quick. I need to check something real quick. That this game here, let's see. All right, so look, folks, there's a website called Wikipedia that tracks this information. Specifically with this game here, folks, we got the all-time series and information it has for Alabama Ole Miss. Alabama currently has a 7-game win streak in the series. Overall, Alabama leads the series 54 wins to 10 wins for Ole Miss, with 2 ties. Back in the days that ties were allowed. Largest margin of victory for Alabama was in 1917 with a 64-0 win. The longest win streak Alabama's had in the series, has had 12 from 1912 to 1932. Folks, this is why I'm going to start hopefully doing more of this type of stuff now that we're getting a conference schedule. Some of these matchups between these schools go back to the 1800s, actually. It's just fascinating. This is why I say you can geek out and nerd out with some of the sports stuff. If you get into the numbers and stuff and the trends, and you can really get into some cool stuff. Largest margin of victory for Ole Miss is 1970. Year I was born, 48-23. Hey, the longest win streak for Ole Miss was 1. I guess they've done it 10 times, but they credited 1894. B.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm not that old, so. I'm not that old, so anyway, but that's some of the stats. What I wanted to show you here was kind of neat. That shows you how dominating Alabama has been in this series, and really, that's what does not bode well for Ole Miss this week. It's just the track record, like I did with Tennessee last week. But see here, makes it even worse. Look at all that red. I mean, so Ole Miss. So, and then of course there's some years where Alabama's on probation, which have vacated wins, but look, all the red, all the way back. And see, this will take you all the way. There's a tie in Mobile, Alabama in 1933. First game, October 27th, 1894. Ole Miss won that game 6-0. Hey, look at that 1899 game. Baseball broke out 7-5. So, folks, and this is what I like with this years ago that I came across his website last year. want to bring that out a little bit more now this year for some of the matchups. Not everyone, because some of these don't go back that far, but like
Yeah,
Alabama, Ole
what
Miss,
did you say that site was? Whipsopedia?
Winsipedia,
Wins.
WINSIPEDIA.com.
Okay.
So can see a lot of tracking on that. And graphically, it gives a great representation of how dominating Alabama has been in this series. So that's, nothing says, like I said, geek it out, nerd it out, whatever you want to call it. That's what we do. That's what we have. So, all right. We kicked the tires on that one pretty damn hard. So Charlotte at Florida. Gators get another paycheck game. We'll be without 3 starters. Should not present a problem in this game. Game here is do you win and get out healthy? I think Kentucky's the next week, so that's going to be a bigger game. UAB is at Georgia. Let's see, probably Georgia. Once again, they survived Carolina. Should be the last of the non-conference games until they play Georgia Tech at the end of the year. Will Georgia finally put a full game together and put a team away early? We don't know. We'll have to see. A game that at one point I thought could have been interesting. Arkansas, the Pigs are at LSU. Arkansas coming off that another ugly loss to a BYU team that was very average offensively, but efficient with scoring the points. Again, and LSU's now at home and on fire. You're so that's where you've got a question. This game, like you said, there's teams I wish that would do well. One of them being Arkansas, but
Yep.
track record does not speak well. Oh, by the way, the Mississippi Alabama game is the 3:30 CBS game this week. So just to let you know, Arkansas LSU is scheduled for. Let's see. Arkansas LSU is scheduled. Let's see, for. Trying to find the time for it. So.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. All right, thank you. I hate
6
that
p.m.
6.
Central Temps.
Yeah,
Central
so
time.
it's 7. I hate. Yeah, 7 o'clock Central. Okay, cool. 7 o'clock Eastern. Yes. Okay.
Yep.
So that could be a game to watch, but I don't. I mean, LSU, Arkansas is not Tennessee, who went to LSU and blew them out last year. So, but you never know. Rivalry game, things can happen. Memphis comes into the SEC to play at Missouri. Will Missouri keep it streak going? Will it, or is it going to have a hangover playing out of conference again? We don't know. Missouri, the team that barely held on to beat Middle Tennessee a couple weeks ago. This could be a dangerous game for Memphis here, folks. It really, really could be. So, any other thoughts other than you don't like Missouri?
No, you just hit that.
Okay, there you go. The high points. All right, we got 4 more games. Mississippi State at South Carolina. A game that could have been really sexy at one point is now just a battle of has-beens that really either one of them could fall into the gutter really right now. So let me see real quick, because like I said, both come off disappointing losses. Mississippi, even though they would lose to LSU, you expect more of a fight out of them, even though they're 2-1. And then South Carolina is 0-1 in conference, 1-2. Now, two the could have been. They struggled with North Carolina, but lost to by 14. They had a lead at Georgia, the number 1 team, and then let it get away. So South Carolina could stand to go 1-3, or Mississippi State could be 2-2. Either way, it's a big game for both teams for the rest of the season. Mississippi State, they lose it. Well, guess what? You got Alabama, LSU. You got the heart of your schedule. Where are your wins going to be if you're going to be the team that got 10 first downs?
Mm-hmm.
No offense. In South Carolina, also speaking of offense, when are you going to get production from your quarterback that is consistent? Like he did against Tennessee last year. Or is he going to be the quarterback that played against Florida last year, where the punter threw the only touchdown pass for South Carolina? So, any other thoughts you got with this game?
Yeah, I think Mississippi State. I think they need this game to set up, because if they don't get this one, it's going to be a really rough rest of the schedule for them for the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Hmm.
It's going to be really rough, and I think they need this win, if nothing else, for a confidence boost to go into the next 2, 3, 4 weeks.
Right, because they've got the heart of the schedule coming up with Arkansas, A&M, Alabama, LSU. I mean, it only gets worse from the here.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
exactly. And so this game, let's see, looking at that, this game kicks off at 7:30 on the SEC network. So I think my team, I don't is my team even on TV this week? Florida is on ESPN Plus and the SEC network alternate. Yay! That's why I paid for it. Hopefully I don't get some dumb regional blackout thing. Anyway, but hey, UT San Antonio is playing at Tennessee. This is a game that people thought at one point before this season could have been interesting because San Antonio is an up and coming smaller program, but they've had a heck of injuries this year. The starting quarterback has not played, which has set all kind of records, and so probably an easy win for Tennessee right here. But I know everybody's on edges up there after the last 2 weeks. Not only Austin P, but then the offensive lack of showing in Gainesville. Not the offense that they had under Hendon Hooker last year, or even under Joe Milton at the end of the season last year. So this is a game that it looks like it should be a fairly easy win for Tennessee, which is at 4 o'clock on the SEC network. Any thoughts on this one, B?
Um, Other than Tennessee needs to, at least make a showing of what they ought to do in this game. They need to,
Yeah.
as far as like you said, with the Austin Pay game, and then last week.
Mm-hmm. And we will hit the next game, which is your favorite. And we can talk about this as much as you want to be, because I know you're the Auburn fan. So Auburn goes on the road to play at Texas A&M. A very interesting game that we've got coming up here this week. Personally, I look at A&M. They're at home, but they last week, even though they beat a very underwhelming Louisiana Monroe, they also lost the week before to the Miami Hurricanes, giving up 48 points. So is A&M for real offensively, or and in that case, is the defense that bad? And can the Auburn quarterbacks get some success against Texas A&M? A&M's shown in the last 2 seasons to be able to be run against, but can Auburn go? It comes down to your quarterback play. Can you run like you did against Louisiana Monroe, or can they get running backs involved? There's a lot here. I honestly would love Auburn to win this game, but wants don't mean anything. But hey, B. So what do you think here with your team here with this game?
Uh, I'm actually excited for it. I think it's really going to at least show, if Auburn pulls this off, I think it'll really make a statement for the SEC, or for the rest of the conference. I think it'll probably uh, definitely make a statement for them to be able to be noticed a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited for the game. So uh, I'm eager to watch this one.
Uh, what do you think about the 11 o'clock kickoff time, though, for you?
I think it is. I think it should have been at least 2:30, maybe even a primetime game. I think it's a little underwhelming for them to put them at 11 o'clock.
Well,
At 11 o'clock my time.
yes, exactly. It's noon Eastern. I tell you what, I personally don't think any college game should ever start before noon local time. I don't care. I think, in fairness to the kids, the players, the coaches, everybody, it's hard to get up and get moving and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff on a Saturday, and it's just not fair to them. But you do what you got to do. They've said it, so both teams have to adapt to it. At least it's not somebody coming from one time zone to the other. It truly is just, it's both teams are equally yoked here with this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll be interesting to see how Auburn does offensively. Hugh Freeze is known as a great offensive coach. I know the struggle on the road at California, but Texas A&M has shown some vulnerability defensively in the last 2 years. And then Auburn, will the defense keep them in the game? Bobby Petrino is the new Texas A&M offensive coordinator, so it's not your old boring A&M offense. They've got a proven coach, proven coordinator to come in that can, threaten that defense. So we'll see how that plays out. So, any other thoughts about the game you got?
Nope, nope.
Okay, all right. Well, that's Auburn at Texas A&M, and finally, it ends up Kentucky at Vanderbilt, which uh, at one point before the season, I was thinking that maybe Vanderbilt could do some things, but Vanderbilt's Vanderbilt. They have no defense. Kentucky has under Devin has a much better offense this year than they did under Will Levis last year. The key is, can the quarterback stay healthy for Kentucky? They also have the running back transfer from Vanderbilt. So a solid roster, solid coaching with Mark Stoops. Against Vanderbilt, Clark Lee is still rebuilding program. Vanderbilt has dropped 2 games already that they could have won or should have won and did not. So, hey, I does not look good for Vanderbilt. I think now getting the heat of the heart of the conference season, you've got I don't think things bode well for Vanderbilt going forward. I think they got a good year last year, but hey, at least is laughing like, wow, this is a lot of football. At least I've said we can get geeky, nerdy, and all this stuff. That one website, I could have stayed on that site for like 3 of these games, and it just the trends, the stats, and everything else. If you're a junkie for that stuff, you can really, really get into it. So, B, what do you think with this game here?
I think Kentucky is going to walk away with it.
Okay.
It's going to hurt Vanderbilt, and they've got a tough road to hoe here. The next Missouri next, and Florida, Georgia. Yeah. It's
Vanderbilt
not
got
going to
lucky.
be too good.
Vanderbilt got lucky getting Florida at home last year when breaking in a new coach. So I think it's definitely going to be different. I think Vanderbilt, they do have a good offense, at least against these weaker teams. But the thing is, last year, I don't remember what the combined, I had made a note of it before, but they scored like 3 points combined against Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee. The every big team that they beat, they gave up at least 50 points to, and scored a field goal. It does not bode well for them. And what they needed was a down Kentucky team, but Kentucky's replenished at quarterback, and really an offensive. If you look at Kentucky's offense, they've been solid this year.
Yeah,
they're scoring and statistically. So hey, it's interesting. Everybody likes to cheer for Vanderbilt, and I wanted Vanderbilt to make a bowl game, but when you lose to Vanderbilt and you lost to Wake Forest when you could have beaten a team that's down this year, you could have started 4-0. You need those wins if you're a school like Vanderbilt. So, all right, well, all right, we got 10 people back with us, folks. Hey. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, because we are winding down. Actually, we are now going to move into our picks part of the game. But before we do that, where we stand overall, remember Rambling Canuck came on last week and helped me kind of wing show. But I used my cousin's pick, who actually beat me. He was 9-2. I was 8-3. So overall, the guests are 4 games behind this season. So this will be the great B from O's chance to beat me and make this a tighter contest. So with that, let's jump in here and see what's going on. Y'all stay for the picks. So remember, this is not for gambling. We're not doing points. And if you try to say I did it's on you, because I not that good. Especially, we don't do points. We're just friends having fun with this, and we just pick straight up. We don't do points and stuff. We may mention points here and there, but it's only for informational purposes with discussion. So we're just having some fun about football. You ready, B?
Yes, sir. Let's get into it.
All right, let's get into this. In week 4 picks, starting right off the bat with the big game of the week, Ole Miss at Alabama. And B takes Alabama. Hey, any particular reason?
Uh, other than I'm betting on them not having three bad games in a row, and I think they may end up taking it out on Ole Miss, unfortunately for them.
Yeah, well, that can happen. That's been known to happen. And with this game, I am going to take Ole Miss. I'm going against my normal thing. My normal thing is I believe it when I see it. Uh, basically, I would normally take Alabama until take them until you can prove it. But I've just seen it. I've seen more of this Ole Miss team, and when I've seen what I've seen looks legit. Bama just the quarterback situation. If you had Bryce Young, yeah, Bryce Young or AJ McCarron, I'd take Bama still any day at home, especially. But Jackson Dart has been reliable as a solid starter for Ole Miss. They developed more receiver threats in addition to John Judkins, who has not even really run like he did last year yet at this point for Ole Miss. So many dangerous options that Ole Miss has with it. Comes down to coaching. Will Lane Kiffin be focused, and will he have them ready, or will Saban have something surprise for Ole Miss to fluster the offense and to stymie them with Alabama winning, maybe possibly in an old school Southern slug out? Dirty football, but old school. So, all right. So that's, but I still see Ole Miss prevailing with this one based on what the results so far this year. Okay. Anything else, B?
No, other than agreeing with you, I think it's going to be a knockdown drag out for them
Yeah.
both probably. That one I think is going to be interesting to watch.
There's no love lost between these two schools either. So, all right. So the next game is a paycheck game. Even though I love the Gators, we're not going to spend time on it because we've been going on other stuff. Because this, like I said, B takes Florida. I take Florida, and this is the game B. That if it's close, I'm mad. If Florida wins it big, I'm bored and turning over the TV. So, but hey, it's okay. But we're a quarter past. We're a quarter of the way through the football season. We're actually going to be at the 1/3 part after this game. Dang, it's going too fast. So, Lisa, that's why even though it's a lot of football for now, it goes way too fast. These seasons just go way too fast. Then we
She's
got
got
another
what, 9 more games? 9 more games, Lisa.
9 more games. Yeah. So and then Georgia, we both take Georgia over UAB. Okay, now we have Arkansas at LSU. In this game, we talked about some of the strengths and weaknesses for both teams. And B, you take Arkansas.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
say,
and I think I discussed it with you before. My brother being an LSU fan, just to get at him.
yeah. Ah, that's cool. We got the OMG from Lisa. I don't know what I deserve for that one, but hey, glad you're still chatting with us because I was like, it's been a while since we had a comment. But hey, on this one, I'm going to go with LSU. I drank the Kool-Aid for Arkansas last year, got burned by them big time last year. And seeing some of the stuff this year, it's like I don't trust Arkansas anymore. Sam Pittman's a great coach. They've got some talented players, but just can't trust them to put two sides, offense and defense together in the same game.
Yeah, and like we
Oh,
discussed
oh,
before,
no, that's awesome. Lisa says she's getting a lot of work done. That's awesome. Thank you, and that's good. I'm glad. I mean, we could go all night if it'll help you be productive. So,
yeah, and I'm hoping Arkansas has a good. I want to see them have a good game. I want to see them have a big win like that.
that would be good. I would like to see it because I think really that would help Florida. I'd like to see LSU knocked down a little bit. With Florida going to them eventually down the road, but
Hmm.
we'll see what happens. And then hey, Lisa's learning sports ball. Yay! We like that here. So exactly. So, and if anybody's got questions, feel free to shout them out. We love answering questions too. But yeah, I this is a game. Like I said, I would like to pick Arkansas. Last year, I might have picked Arkansas, but just the game losing to BYU pretty much shot me for Arkansas this year. You know, it spent the capital. They're like Mississippi State for me. I won't trust them again. They've done it. I mean, Ole Miss, I'm taking a leap of faith on because I've seen them play some this year. The numbers that they're putting up are just incredible. And yeah, granted, a lot of it's against weaker competition,
Mm-hmm.
but what they're doing, and the players have done it for a couple of years now, uh, speaks volumes. It's not flash in the pan stuff. So
Yeah, but they're also playing in Tuscaloosa too.
yeah,
And I
I
think
yeah,
Alabama at home after the two games that weren't as good as Alabama normally plays,
yep.
that's
Well,
that's
I agree. That's why I'm saying I'm taking a leap of faith with them right now. I you know I it paid off dividends of me taking Florida last week for those theories, but we'll see though. We'll see what happens with that game too. So all right,
is
but
it.
Arkansas, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask if Lisa was going to score a goal run unit run score thing with the way she's spitting them out in chat.
Uh, uh, oh, I don't know. You never know. Uh, so okay, Arkansas and LSU. This Arkansas LSU game. I swear that they used to play that like around Thanksgiving,
Mm-hmm.
and then they switched it for Misery in Arkansas. Why I don't know. Why would you have Misery? So oh, okay, Buddy asked a question. Oh. Well, let's ask what did you ask, B?
Oh, I was going to ask. I was just saying if she was going to yell out "Go team, score a run unit goal" or something.
Oh no. She knows her stuff though. Yeah, she's rushing. Yes, rushing. No, I think he was having fun with that one. But no, Lisa will know her stuff. Lisa's always prepared. She knows her stuff. She will go into everything prepared. So, buddy, which game are you talking about? The over under on missed field goals? Arkansas LSU. So, but yeah, over under missed field goals. I always say two. Two's a good number to set for missed field goals. Is a general thing. Kick the darn field goal. Exactly. How many coaches have lost games because they didn't take the points? Actually, this happened the other day with a game, and it was Colorado State, Colorado. I wish Wade was here again because Colorado State could have maybe even won this game in regulation. But early in the game, it was tied 0-0. Colorado State was driving. They kicked a field goal. Colorado committed a penalty. I think it was a 15-yarder. So guess what? They took the points off the board, took the field goal off to keep a drive going, and then right after, in a play or two, threw a pick six. Sometimes you put the points on the board, and you keep them on the board, kick the darn field goal. So exactly. So that touchdown gave Colorado 7 and took away 3 for Colorado State. It could have made a difference in the game there. So, and yeah, buddy, if you're talking general with them, I would always say 2, unless you have really bad kickers that you've known, then you could go 3. But 4 is probably high. I think 2. I think 2 is a good way to set it because you don't really. It's hard enough to get even 5 field goal attempts in one game unless you're the Dallas Cowboys. But it just I picked up my team with that one. So, but yeah, I would say 2, buddy. So, all right, Memphis at Missouri. B, you are now taking Memphis. Why?
Just because Missouri doesn't deserve to be in the SEC.
Exactly. I like that line. Yeah, Lisa agreed. Lisa said 2 is fair. Good job. Thanks. So, but yeah, Missouri. You just don't like Missouri. Yeah, it's really the redheaded stepchild. See, I actually with Texas coming in, I feel good for the A&M fans that they actually get a natural rival back, presuming the league does it the right way. But Missouri is just the bastard child that just does not belong, has no natural rivals, has no natural connections to anybody or anything. And I would like to jettison them out. And
yeah, they're probably going to take it out, but I just can't vote. I just can't put
Well, but I will say that's not a bad pick, though. I will say between them taking a 61-yard field goal to win last week because there was some potentially incompetent coaching down the stretch, but also Middle Tennessee almost beat them at Missouri. So Memphis is not a bad team from a decent-sized conference. it's not an unreasonable pick here, but I'm going to stay with Brady Cook and Missouri at home. To continue. So it may be ugly, it may be close, but I still take Missouri. All right, so we got the last four games we got tonight. Mississippi State at South Carolina, and you take Mississippi State.
I take Mississippi State. Hell State.
Hell State. Not Hell State, like it's the heat and humidity, but hell like hello, Hiail. Any particular reason?
No.
Okay. That works. That works. We always like to know people's methodology because we've had people roll dice, use cheese, pick it based on cats, all kinds of things. So, and I'm going to take South Carolina, the Gamecocks, only because they're at home. Mississippi State, I'm sorry, I think this is going to be horrendous. What's sad because when you look at their roster, we did in the preview show, they are very heavily a senior laden team, and to see what they're doing with like next to no offense repeatedly, and have just basically thrown. I understand trying to not take the same air raid system and try to modify it, but in 1 year, just say we're not going to do it anymore, and to take a throwing quarterback and to change the offense to this, just I think it's too much.
Mm-hmm. And I want to see them like the one game that I picked. I want to see Mississippi State have a good game.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So Mississippi State's a team that I picked to finish a little higher than normal. The media picked them at the bottom, but now we're seeing why.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, why would you take Will Rogers and stick him into a running offense?
Yeah.
It's like I understand, but it's only 1 year, one season removed. Why not? You got a senior quarterback. That's the way it's done, and then just progressively change in a couple of years, not just do it, throw the baby out with the bathwater situation.
Yeah, abruptly, right?
So exactly. All right. And South Carolina, I don't trust Spencer Rattler, but they're at home. They're not Mississippi State, and they should get healthy in this game. All right. Now, watch that. This will be the game Mississippi State shows up and plays efficiently. So that's why I say don't trust on me for gambling and stuff. So, all right. So then we move to UTSA and Tennessee. We both take Tennessee. The Volunteers get healthy at home. One of the other reasons why some people might have looked at this as a potential upset or challenge game, but San Antonio's quarterback, even though he's a record setter, has not played this year. And actually, he had thought about retiring in the off season. So, but he was highly regarded and all. It's one of those sad cases but with him, they might have stood a chance in this game. But I look at Tennessee to roll as you do.
Yep.
So let's go to the game of your game of the week with Auburn at Texas A&M, and you are going to take Auburn.
Auburn.
All right, go ahead, my friend. Tell us why we should take Auburn in this game.
Basically because I'm an Auburn fan.
Okay.
And I just can't go against Auburn on this one. I wouldn't mind going and watching the game at College Station there. I think it'd be interesting. Some of the things I've heard, as far as the pregame stuff, I think it'd be interesting to go there.
Mm-hmm.
At least experience one time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So I want to go to Austin though, because I saw that game at Texas last year where Alabama played. That place has got to be a freaking riot. That thing looked crazy there, and the Gators go there next year. So, I got
another road trip for Dadman.
Well, maybe. Well, my Austin connection said they'd get me a ticket, so I got to make sure that they follow through on it. So, but yeah. I don't know that I'd go to College Station. Those people, I don't know. The 2020 season with their, quote, half capacity that was like everybody hugging each other. And yet the Gator coach is the one that took the blast for it because I don't blame him. I mean, everybody's having to operate under these standards, whether like it or not or whatever. And he got pissed. It's like it was a home game. It was like a normal 80,000. It just was ridiculous. And you couldn't prepare for that year and all this other stuff. And so he gets vilified after it, calls like, oh, he doesn't want this and that, and it's dangerous. But it was like his point was nobody enforced it there, or it was
Mm-hmm.
a joke, and they got away with nothing done about it. And it's just why have anybody? Why not fill up every stadium? And that was kind of his point. But it came, like everything, you run your mouth, you point out the obvious, and then you get the crap for it. But in spite of my callous disregard for A&M, I got to pick them in this one. I hope I will be pulling for Auburn. This is one of those games I'm picking A&M only because of only really because they're at home. But the thing to me is what Auburn's defense. If Auburn has a legitimate defense and they can stymie A&M's offense, they might stand a chance. But I don't. The home field advantage makes a big difference here. Bobby Petrino is a very seasoned offensive coordinator. I just don't see Auburn being able to hold A&M back. Now the question is, can Auburn generate a little offense to get some turnovers? Auburn needs to avoid turnovers, special team errors, and stuff like that, because it is always hard to win at A&M. But one bright spot, if Auburn likes running the football, A&M was even the Gators gashed at A&M last year for a ton of yards on the ground and won at Texas A&M. So, any other thoughts you got with this game other than you want to get a chance to say War Eagle one more time?
War Eagle. That's all.
Yeah, there you go. And hey, next week we'll have Small Time Republic, and we'll be another War Eagle next week. So, last game of the week, and this will start us to wrap up. Kentucky at Vanderbilt. You take Kentucky, and I take Kentucky also.
Yeah, let's go Big Blue.
Go Big Blue. I just think because Vanderbilt sucks again, and their wins have dried up. I just don't even see them beating Missouri. I think Vanderbilt could go back winless at this point now, based on what we've seen. They're not going to win at Florida. I mean, they got Florida down and at home last year. They got Kentucky. Actually, they went on the road last year and got Kentucky on the road. But this is a different Kentucky team. It's not a Will Levis offense. This team has actually got some legitimate playmakers at the quarterback and running back positions. So, and good luck, Vanderbilt. So, sorry. Mrs. loves cheering for Vanderbilt. I like cheering for him, but it just got to be realistic this year. So, all right. Well, B from O, thank you for being with me tonight. Any other last thoughts that you got with football or anything else before we wrap up?
No, just like you mentioned several times. If you don't mind me giving you a plug, go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe, turn all those notifications to all, so you don't miss anything that Dadman puts out.
Well, thank you, and yeah, we're going to try to get that 500 mark, and then I got to figure out some celebration with it. I mean, who would have ever thought with at this point, it's just barely over a year to be at 400 something, and it's like it's an honor and a pleasure, and for everybody that comes and stays with us and sits in the chat, lurks, does things like this, it's always an honor. I mean, we've got like 9 people here, so just spend 2.5 hours with us while we talk football. It's a passion I have. I love it, and I love talking anyway and stuff. So it's. Lisa said, "Thank you to you, B."
Oh, you're welcome. It's been a pleasure. Whenever you asked me to come on, I was like, wow, okay, that's pretty cool. I was honored to come on and be on your show. It's always, I always enjoy watching and chatting in the chat there, and it's always entertaining.
It's kind of nice being able to talk to, and not just. I mean, we love Fortnite, but it's kind of neat doing something besides just Fortnite too, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and Mrs. says it's been fun listening. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Mrs.
Oh, and Dadman also. So
hey, Lisa.
Lisa's out here in the chat. Thank you for chatting in the back part, Lisa. Yeah, we got 10 people still with us. That's always what's so much fun here. And it's like it always seems like we get more people near the end, and it's just funny how that happens. But
hey, Mrs.
Yes, and Mrs. says hi back to Lisa. So, oh my goodness. So, folks, hey B, we'll have to do it another time. We'll have other panels and stuff that we need to do. Actually, I need to I've got so many ideas right now and other things that are working. We need to probably do a Fortnite panel for this season. I
Ah,
haven't even thought
that
about
would
that.
be fun.
So, well, we'll have to look into doing that sometime soon. We did, our trip got canceled, so I am looking for some things to fill in a couple of nights. So
Okay.
we'll see what happens. So, but hey, um, well, Lisa, thank you. Appreciate it. And thank you for being here and chatting, asking questions. Everybody else that was here too. You guys help drive this. Really, it does. It's good having y'all here hanging out with us and stuff. And now we're at 11. Yay. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. I say next Thursday night, it'll be the Great Small Time Republic. Another Auburn fan who will be with us. So we will be talking about a big game next week. I don't remember if it's Auburn, Georgia. It might be the Auburn, Georgia game next week. I don't remember offhand, but it's come talk. This guy's been around YouTube for quite a while. Many other chats. It'll definitely be good to get and talk to another Auburn fan. This is what I love this year. B is that I branched out with new people and stuff that I met and all, and now
Hmm.
getting Auburn fans, OC Dobbins, the Alabama fan. I've got scheduled up at LSU fan. I mean, just all kinds of different things, and the variety is what I love with it. So
Yeah, yeah, and that goes a testament to you, putting out the entertainment there, and I tell many people I watch YouTube like I do TV shows. I
yeah,
probably watch more YouTube than I do regular TV now,
yeah,
and it's because of streamers like you. The interaction that you have with your chat, the interesting people that you have, the interesting topics. I don't know if anybody in chat may not know, but Dadman does a lot of other things too. His chilling chats are nice. His road trip series, that was pretty fun to watch.
hmm
And also if you're a gamer, he does gaming streams.
yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. We've done a bit of all of it. I mean, the missus is also a big part with those driving streams and stuff like that. And she always makes my Fortnite better, because I can't talk as well as the missus. Thank you, Miss. Like this. Remember the poll. Okay. I will. I'll do it right now. And then people like Lisa, friends of the channel like Lisa, you
Yep.
know, we had a gardening stream. Did you know that?
I think I missed that one.
Go back and look through the channel. I need to get things back in the playlist, but we had a chill and chat with Lisa where we talked gardening.
Okay.
So exactly. So
And that's Lisa, as in Lisa from YouTube.
yes, that's Lisa. That Lisa
Oh,
right there.
okay, okay.
That Lisa. Yes. So Dadman is like a box of chocolates. Yes. You never know what you're going to get. So hey, but it's going to be nice and sweet. So yes, Jess, all caps. I got you. Thank you for the reminder. You and the missus. Let's do that right now. So we'll do it right now. Oh my God, we got 10. I'm going to leave it for 1 second. Okay. Dadman Buck. No, please don't compare me to Deion Sanders, please. Please. No. Hey, Jeremy. Jeremy's here. Jeremy, you've got to vote in the poll. Please go vote in the poll. Thank you for getting here. Now all the attention's focused on you. We got a tie in there. So I'm hoping that we can break the tie before I end the poll, which is
And
which is your
what was the
favorite?
poll? What was the
Which
poll
was your
again?
favorite tailgate food? Hamburgers, hot dogs, barbecue, or subs and sandwiches? So Jeremy apparently must have broken the tie. So I am going to close it with 11 votes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we've got 13 likes. Hey, folks, and let me hit the right button to close the poll, not the stream. And now we have closed it with Lisa. I'm sorry about the bratwurst. I consider them hot dogs. Next time I'll put it in specifically. But hamburgers win 36%, hot dogs right on the tail at 27%, barbecue 18%, and sub sandwiches at 18%. That is very, very interesting. So, but yeah, hamburgers win. Sometimes simple is better. I know, Lisa. I will. It's the Southern in me. I think isn't that a more Northern Yankee thing with the bratwurst? But I don't know. It's yeah, you Southerners. Yeah, exactly. I'm the guy that wants to sit around and go heckle the yuppies at our baseball stadium. They go, build a minor league, they fill it up, but they all stand around talking and drinking instead of sitting and watching the game. It's like a bunch of loiterers. Yep, and German. Yes, we just missed JT in Masters Mexico tonight. With the bratwurst, but hey, or sort of poopas too. But folks, thank you for being here, Jeremy. Thank you for coming in. Glad to have you two with us at the end. And break the poll tie. So we're at, yeah, it was like 30-30-20-20. So it was like that one vote. I was just waiting for the one vote to go to one of the others, and we had a three-way tie again because that happens too. So, but hey, next Thursday night, September 28th, Small Time Republic, more football. Tomorrow night, I do not have a slide, but listen, folks, if you follow on Twitch, if you're on Twitch, for the next few weeks, I'm going to be back with Amanda Gillen Presents on Twitch, playing Dead by Daylight at 8 p.m. on her Twitch channel. Mrs. or Jess, if one of y'all are close enough to put Amanda's link in for me, could you over on Twitch? If you're following over on Twitch, just take a
Are you
minute.
going to
Probably
stream that as well, or is it just going to be
no.
on hers?
It's just on her channel, on
Oh,
her
okay.
Twitch channel.
Okay.
So it's her stream. She's asked me to come on to help fill a hole for a little bit.
Okay.
Should be also after that late tomorrow night would be Mark D with a C with some Fortnite if he does it. If not, then I might host it. So just looking through the calendar. So thank you, Mrs. Here. Right there's the link. Hey, you want to hear me scream like a girl? It's a good thing to do. It might be worth getting Twitch just to hear. Luck, LOL. Yes, exactly. So also we'll see Sunday night. Sunday let me say the scheduled guest coming up. Like I said, this week was B from O. Oh my God, look at this. This makes my heart sad. This is really sad. We're already a third of the way through the season now. This is what I mean. It flies by way too fast. But B, you made a great guess. We got Small Time Republic. Folks, I hope you're there here on Tuesday, October 3rd for MC Wally. It's not McWell, it's MC Wally. This guy could be really cool. Really, really cool. I hope that y'all can join us for that one because I think that one can be an off the wall football stream with that guy. I would tell you more later. So yeah, Lisa. No, I know you don't stream like a girl. You just you refuse to. You hold it together. No, I'm a jump scare queen. So it's so then after that, JT Kirk, Marty with a C, AFK Bar. Jane Theory is my scheduled guest for LSU Florida week. And then Whoopa Troopa and Lorena Creole for Florida State week. So there's what's coming up with the guest. Sunday, this has become a thing that I've been doing lately on Sunday around 6 is to do a kind of a combination recap, looking back at the previous day's college football games, looking at rankings that come out, and looking at some of the NFL action for the day and as the games close down. So this has been something that's had a lot of viewers right now. So feel free to join us. Like I said, always with Sports Ball, ask your questions, come and be with us. And all that. So remember, the only other stream really, then there's another podcast next week on Amanda's channel on Tuesday. But hey, next Wednesday night, folks, please make a plan. Is that no, not the real Wally. This guy's a local voice that has done a lot of in-game stuff and full of energy and loves his football. So it's going to be fun. But folks, hey, listen. Join me and Daisy next Wednesday night for this. We'll hit the last of the real Indiana Jones movies. We'll see what we do from there. But Daisy's a class act, such a great voice, so knowledgeable. Join us for this movie review next Wednesday night with that, and so support and love having Daisy as a co-host on these movie streams, and hope you're there for that. Always a great, and we see what we do with other movies going forward. So, like I said, football on Sunday too, possibly. And I think that was about it. Like I said, also go back, look at my videos on demand, YouTube, Twitch, Dadman Walking 55, and of course on Twitter at Dadman Walking 55. Only at Dadman Walking 55 on Twitter. Make sure on the Twitch side you hit the follow to get when I go live. On YouTube, make sure you're subscribed still, but also hit that bell and hit all for your notifications so you always know when we go live. And the backup plan is to go on Twitter, because I've had several people tell me it's the tweet that they see before the YouTube notification, Dadman Walking 55. So on that note, let's see. Anything else, B?
No, everybody have a good night, and I appreciate you having me on the show tonight.
All right. Well, we made the 2 hours, and now what I normally would do is sit here and stall for 30 seconds to get 2 hours and 40 minutes, but we won't do that, folks. But because I know B's got things to do. Love all y'all being here tonight, and thank you for your support, and hope to see you next time. And always look for when I do an impromptu fortnight along the way, or chill chat or something. It's Lisa. See, thanks, Lisa. That actually helped me right there. That actually helped me get another cover for another 10 seconds. That leads in 2-1. We're at 2:40. On that note, and thanks, Jess. The stream updates and the misses. On that note, everybody, bye. Y'all have a good night.
Good night, everybody.